Gray is just walking through Vila Renabou, then this kid Belder challenges him to a sword duel. Belder always did this, just an excuse to beat Gray up. To humiliate him in front of everyone. Not this time. Gray grabs the sword. Belder attacks, no warning, the duel barely started. Gray dodges every single attack, precision. This never happened before. Belder feels something is seriously off. Then things get even stranger. Gray closes his eyes, waiting for an opening. Boom. One move, he knocks the sword right out of Belder's hands. The guy admits he lost. Not enough for Gray. He is not a coward anymore. Everyone needs to know it. Watch this. He brings the sword down full force. Hits the bully hard. Do not worry. Just a grazing hit. Gray is not the villain here. He wants to teach a lesson. Savage. He lands another hit, flat of the blade, sends Belder flying. Everyone watching, especially Belder. That coward kid from before, now he looks like the real threat. The other guys rush him, all at once. Think for against one changes things, it does not. All for end up with their heads ringing. Too many hits to count. This is where it gets good. Gray makes it clear, from now on. None of them treat him as inferior again. If that happens, they end up like this leaf right here. Right in front of them. Done. He slices the leaf clean in half. Belder runs off immediately, screaming he needs to change his underwear. The truth none of them know. Gray has a dark secret, buried in his past. Fast forward 15 years, Gray is part of a warrior group, assembled to face the greatest threat the world had ever seen, the Liquidator, a destroying entity. Wiped an entire continent off the map, like it was nothing. They gathered Earth's absolute best to fight this monster, think they stood a chance. One guy walked away from a giant's attack without a scratch, another sage had armor-level power, an archer one-shot a high-level dragon, and the strongest swordswoman ever, gone. Every last one of them. Gray watched them all die, completely helpless. He was just a low-ranked soldier. Disposable pawn. Nobody. But right when it seemed over, watch what happens next. Some unexplained power kept him alive. He should have been dead. Then Chronos appeared. Told him one simple thing. Gray's power actually beat the Liquidators. Problem was he had zero control, so Gray gets thrown backing. Black sword, red lightning, he charges the monster. He actually hurts the Liquidator. None of those great warriors could do that, still not enough. The Liquidator was untouchable in his own power plane. Gray still couldn't control his power. That's when Chronos stepped in for real. Sent the Liquidator back, threw Gray even further into the past. Time to learn everything from scratch. Time to get it right. Fast forward to Gray opening his eyes. He's in Vila Renabou, 15 years before the end. Right then, his first moments back, he runs into Belder and his crew. You already know how that ended. All for on the ground begging. Gray sheathes his sword. Looks at Belder, one simple request. A referral to the Shin-Sira dojo he needed into the world's greatest academy. That humiliated bully was his fastest ticket. Belder ran straight there to recommend him. Back in the city, Belder asks, Gray even cares about the dojo. Gray tells him straight up, he needs that academy recommendation. One of Belder's goons pipes up, says Gray's already strong enough. Why bother with the academy? Gray just shakes his head. Nowhere near strong enough. The world's absolute best could not beat the Liquidator. Even with his black swordsman power, he could not even scratch the guy. How much stronger did he need to get? He had no idea, but he had clues. And you already know, he was going to follow them. Right then, for a second, he felt that dark power. He had to master the holy swordsman's art. If he had just trained harder like him, things would be different. That is why Chronos sent him back. Cut to the dojo. Belder's master is furious he used her moves on a civilian. Sario, the instructor, looks completely disgusted. Belder tries to talk his way out. Says it was just training, not a real fight. Quack. Saria nails Belder with her wooden sword. Stop making excuses. Attacking an unarmed person is not training. She points the sword right at him. Get out. Never come back. Then she looks at his goons. You are all done here too. The four of them slink away. Saria apologizes to Gray. She heard he wants that academy recommendation. To make up for Belder's mess, she offers to write the recommendation letter. But first she needs to confirm Gray's skills. She hands him a wooden sword. He gets the first move. Gray charges in, fast attacks. Saria blocks them all. She notices his sword skills are insanely practical for his age. He has clearly been through real battles. She sees proof when he dodges her counter. Mostly self-taught, yet his method looks like the academy style. He unleashes a combo. Saria wonders if someone taught him. Kid has crazy talent. A diamond in the rough, needs polishing. Gray keeps attacking fast. Saria ends the fight, apologizes. This is where it gets good. She goes all out to end the test. Gray dodges and blocks everything. Super agile. He keeps up, does not back down. Saria just wanted to test him. Guess what? Now she is fighting for real. Why is she so scared of this kid? Suddenly Gray unleashes a slash full of evil energy. Saria dodges. Bad feeling, even if the attack was rushed. Finally, a weakness. Saria moves to end it. Boom. Her wooden sword shatters. The blade flies off. Gray feels it again. He still has that Chronos power. Intense pain hits him. He drops to his knees. His body just couldn't handle that power level. Barely standing, still claims he's fine though. Mental note, stop spamming that power. He's not telling Saria the truth yet. She wouldn't believe him anyway. Gray can't control it, so he changes the subject. Says he got carried away. But Saria, she knows you can't cut a blunt blade like that. Impossible. She knows he's lying. He's dodging the topic, not talking. Saria lets it go. Back to the recommendation. She can get him in the Swordsmanship Academy. Best school in the kingdom, but she won't send him there. He's not ready. Gray knows he lacks strength. Can't do anything unless that power kicks in. Instead, Saria suggests the Unified World Academy. Not just the kingdom's best, the most famous school in the world. Gray's shocked. That's where the Holy Swordsman came from. Other heroes too. Gray asks if he'll get in. Saria says hell no. His body isn't ready. Not even close. Maybe at the Royal Academy. Skills might cover it there. But not at the Unified World Academy. No way. Saria asks how he got so skilled with that weak body. Gray knows those students are prodigies. His current body isn't close. But Saria says don't quit. 9 months until the exam. She knew 9 months was tight. Still, she told him to trust her. She promised brutal training over those 9 months to get him into the academy. Gray hated the idea of suffering but took the challenge. He asked for her guidance. Saria loved that. She told him the torture starts now. Days flew by. Gray tons and trained like a maniac. He sharpened his sword skills and built his body. Fast forward 8 months. Gray got absolutely jacked. Saria said he was pure muscle now. She had nothing left to teach him. She told him about the final month. He needed to travel early for an exam somewhere unknown. She gave him cash for the trip and a month of supplies. Gray thought leaving a whole month early was crazy. He figured she was just kicking him out of the village. Saria said he was overreacting. Then Gray brought up the ogre nest nearby. He mentioned the lack of guards. Saria knew about the nests, but she claimed it was fine. Help was coming from the capital. She told Gray to focus on the exam. Gray knew she was lying. No help was coming. He knew right before the village falls, his master dies. Later, people would say an ogre slaughtered her alone. Gray thanked Saria and said he was leaving. Saria promised to pray for his success. That same night, Saria went into the forest toward the ogre nest. The scout report told her exactly where it was. Gray calls down from high up in a tree, asking where his master is going. She is shocked. What is he doing there? He should be heading to the academy. He brings up her story about the capital's army wiping out the ogres. Saria lies again. An emergency stopped them, so she is handling it alone. She knows the nest's strength from the report. The chief is an elite ogre. 45 monsters total. She insists she will win. Gray knows an elite ogre alone is not that strong, but its real strength is intelligence and leadership. Fighting alone is suicide. She will get surrounded. If he leaves his master and the village now, she dies. Brutal. He already saw it happen, so he demands his master take him along. Saria stubbornly says she will handle the nest alone. Gray wants the combat experience. He promises not to slow her down. Saria cannot beat him in training anymore. He obviously will not be a hindrance. But who knows what happens in a real fight against a new nest. Saria thinks he needs more experience. Since she insists on going alone, Gray gets an idea, knocks Saria unconscious. Then he deals with the ogre himself. He points his sword right at his master. Saria gives up going alone. She made him promise one thing, come back alive, no matter what. Gray lowered his sword. That was always the plan. He demanded she do the same, not die. That dark night they moved out. Deep into the mountain, right to the ogre nest. The terrain trapped you, no escape routes. The ogres felt safe there. They knew running was out. Smart monsters, you have to be careful. They did not see the ogre chief anywhere. Probably inside the main tent. Time to thin the herd before he shows up. Saria told Gray to clear one side. She took the other path. Weapons out. They charge. Fast. The ogres barely noticed before getting hit. They dropped dozens before the rest even reacted. Then an angry pack charged. Gray pulled back his sword. A spinning slash wiped out several at once. One ogre swung an axe. Gray gutted him. Saria was also slaughtering them. Untouched. They cleared the area. Every common ogre dead. Saria asked if this was his first real fight. He just told her to stay alert. Something felt off. These monsters were too weak. Saria could have handled this alone. They were fragile. Unless something truly horrifying hid inside that tent. He looked. Terrifying red eyes stared back. Gray froze. He ordered his master to leave. Now, terrified, he screamed to get out. They ran. Fast. They are hauling us out of there. Boom. An elite ogre smashes through the camp. Saria thinks it is the chief honoring them with a visit. Wrong. Gray tells her that is not the chief. The real one stands right behind him. This massive elite ogre lets out a deafening roar. The sound echoes. Every ogre nearby goes absolutely berserk. This thing is way stronger than any elite. Gray knows exactly what it is. An ogre general, the real boss of the nest. Saria knows they cannot take a general alone. Plan, kill the elite first. Then run. She blocks the elite's axe with her sword. She slashes its chest open, but the wound instantly heals. Gray shouts that the generals were buffs his allies, boosts their strength and recovery. That is why these ogres are so strong. Even the weak ones are tough now. Gray trusts his master to cover his back. He tells her to buy time. Do not try to win. Gray knows there is only one option. Kill the ogre general now. He charges straight at the monster. Flanking attacks are so annoying. He has to dodge another ogre trying to hit him from behind. He focuses on clearing the path ahead. Then his sword snaps in half. It cannot handle the clash with a buffed ogre. Another attack incoming. He blocks with just the hilt. The ogre knows his plan. That is why it is attacking so brutally. This monster is smart. He snatches another sword. Blocks the axe strikes. Then his master tosses him a second blade. Dual wielding now. Still not enough to cut through them all. I mean, he is fighting an ogre general plus the whole horde. Suddenly, the general roars again, buffing his minions even more. He crosses both swords against heavy attacks. Uses pure strength to shove the ogre's axe back. Shoving one aside, he charges the crowd. Straight line attack. He hits several, but takes a shot to the shoulder. No time to react. Gray takes more hits, pushing forward. Trying to clear a path, an ogre grabs his waist, holds him down while another swings for the kill. It connects, right in Gray's shoulder. These monsters are wrecking his swords, throwing them to pin him. Right then an enraged monster punches at Gray's face. He blocks with the sword. The blade shatters. Brutal. The impact sends Gray flying back, wounded bad from the punch and earlier cuts. He hits the ground. Another sword gone. Only one left against the horde. One sword against hordes and an ogre general. Think he backs down. With all his pre-regression experience, Gray knows he cannot win. He yells at his master to run while they focus on him. She just laughs, apologizes, says she cannot do that. Gray tells her not to die here. Not to worrying about him. She says that is not it. Her leg is busted. She cannot run. That leg cut trapped her. She had to fight. Gray regressed 15 years just to beat the Liquidator. Now, history repeats itself. He swings again. Snap. His last sword shatters. Total despair. No way it ends like this. He refuses. That black swordsman power, that could win this. Tap into that and every enemy turns weak. He channels the feeling. Facing the Liquidator. Eyes closed. Focus. He stares at the broken blade. eyes open. Shadows explode around him, he swings the broken hilt. A massive magic slash erupts. That slash obliterates a whole line of ogres. Saria misses the actual hit. But she sees the bodies. Gray smiles. Shadows eat him alive. He says it is fine. He wipes out a horde instantly. The ogre general is terrified. Guess what happens next? Another shadow slash. General gone. Saria blocks an axe, complains about the trouble. Then dices the monster. The general is dead. No more buffs for the small fries. They are weak again. Gray wins. Black swordsman form dominates. He apologizes for breaking her sword. She saved his life. Think she cares about a sword? Hell no. She asks about that crazy attack. Silence. He collapses, totally drained, out cold. She screams at him to wake up. Gray wakes up somewhere dark, unknown. A door sits ahead. Chain shut. Black and red energy appears. Gray knows that power. It is the same stuff he just used. Open that door and get everything he wants. He takes one step. Something dead and monstrous looms behind him. He just knows opening that door means death. The thing whispers he made the right call waiting. Gray snaps awake in bed. Panicked, Saria rushes over. He is in the infirmary, out cold for 5 days. She thought he was gone. He pushed way too hard. His body just quit. Words cannot describe him wrecking those orcs and the general. She asks if he can move. Gray tries. His right arm shakes like crazy, no strength. He forces it to move. He thinks he is done with swords. A weird shadow bruise covers his forearm. He figures she cannot see it. He just says his arm is useless. Saria tells him every bone in that arm is broken. Recovery will take time. He feels zero pain. No wonder he did not realize his arm was shattered. They used a magic potion. Gray cannot believe it. Those cost a fortune. Saria says the village chief gave it to him. Why give him something so pricey? Saria smiles. Gray is the village hero now. That shocks him. Right then the village chief walks in. He thanks Gray over and over. That ogre general could have destroyed everything. Forget neighbors helping. The chief said straight up. No Gray. Total devastation. So he handed over the potion. Payment for saving everyone. Gray thought the old man was laying it on thick, saying they would have died. The chief insisted. No exaggeration. Gray knew he was right. Before his regression, ogres absolutely destroyed this place. The chief offered details. He also knew about Gray's Unified World Academy exam. Gray knew the clock was ticking. 2 days until exams. Unified World Academy was a 3-day walk. A horse cuts that to 1 day. No cash though. He asks the chief for a horse. Guess what? The chief already prepped the village's best stallion. Saria joked. They would have dragged him there asleep if he had not woken up. Gray opens the door. The whole village is waiting. Signs up. Wishing him luck. They thank their hero. Hope he crushed the exam. Someone hands him a bag. The whole village pooled money for his Unified World Academy tuition. Gray thanked them. He promised he would not dare show his face if he failed. Saria added that no other candidate ever beat an ogre general. Gray worried about his right arm though. Saria told him to relax. She tells him his left arm is plenty. No need for that shadowy power. Gray is not so sure. He figures the exam will push him to use both. Saria guarantees the examiners will see his skill. He will pass. Gray thanks her. Think about it. In the other timeline, this village was gone. Now it stands. Gray realizes this world is different. He actually has hope. Maybe his power can change the future. He hits the road right then. His fast horse gets him to the exam city in no time. Finally, he reaches the Unified World Academy. It is a massive castle. He goes inside. They start handing out exam tickets immediately. Everyone has to stay in the central arena. Gray looks around. So many people. He hears rumors only 20 will pass. Apparently, the number changes every year. Last year 50 passed. 1 year, only 1 person made it. Then the announcer calls Professor Ariel. She is distributing the tickets. Candidates pick up the papers. They slide their fingers over them to make magic. Gray grabs his paper. Candidate number 513. Fencing course. Surprise, nothing on it but the number and the course. The Unified World Academy does not care about age, gender, or status. Not even his name is on there. The Academy did not care about that stuff. Task the exam. earn the right to cross the bridge, then you reveal your name, use a fake one for all they cared. Made no difference. Gray left his sword at the inn, but still got assigned fencing. Professor Ariel just looked at everyone and assigned courses based on appearance. She asked anyone in the wrong course to raise their hand. Everyone was shocked. She just guessed based on looks. Were they pre-evaluated? Did she read minds? The professor saw no hands, then announced the schedules. Gray's exam. 11 o'clock, day 1. He hated that. He needed time for his arm. Practical exam. Show up late and you are disqualified. Punctual. Gray could not change the time. Plus, his right arm had 0 strength. He desperately wanted it healed by morning. Next day. Nope. Still busted. He went anyway. A servant told him to wait at the arena entrance. He was next. Left arm worked fine. Right arm barely moved. Gray watched the examiner. He looked for openings. A brute charged the bespectacled swordsman like a bull, swinging hard. The swordsman dodged. The brute's heavy sword slammed the ground. He yelled he wasn't done, yanked the sword up, ready to attack again. He launched his sword at the bespectacled swordsman. Glasses guy blocks with his thin blade. The brute cannot believe his huge sword did not shatter that thing. Instant mistake. Glasses guy shatters his guard with pure power. One hit, the brute's sword flies. He hits the dirt. Brutal. Exam over. The big guy grabs his weapon and gets out of there. Gray watches, thinks he is screwed. The examiner, Glasses guy, calls candidate number 513, time to go. Gray feels hopeless. He has to fight this guy who just wrecked a giant using one arm. The examiner tells Gray to take the first swing. Gray knows he is probably going to lose. He decides to go all out anyway. He charges the examiner. Hard. Gray remembers Master's words. Do not just swing with your arms, channel the whole body's power through them. Weak right arm and all. Gray shifts the power through other muscles. A fast cut. The examiner barely dodges. Gray cannot fight like normal. Swinging without full strength is way harder than practice. His left arm sets up another strike. The examiner sees an opening and goes for it. But the instructor's sword looks slow. Too slow. Gray predicts the path. Blocks it easy. Okay, the guy has power, but his speed is nothing compared to Master's. Gray trusts his training. He can make up for his weak arm. Watch what happens next. Gray attacks head on. Then moves in super fast. He sees how slow the examiner is. The guy looks shot. Gray totally overestimated him. Gray realized this guy wasn't all that. Master said he'd win, no doubt. Their swords slammed together. Gray shoved the examiner's arm way up. He knew he had this. Gray read the guy's moves like a book. But man, that power gap was huge. He couldn't break his stance. Winning one-handed, not easy. Gray saw the examiner getting sloppy though. Gray dodged. Time to end this. He stood still, waiting. The instructor brought his sword down hard. Wide open. Gray slipped to the side. There it was. A huge opening right in the guy's back. Tower difference didn't matter now. Gray was behind him. Surprise. Just as he was about to strike. Someone stopped the fight. Seriously. Time ran out. A draw. Gray hated it. He had that final attack ready. He looked down. He gave it everything. But no win meant trouble. He decided to come back next year. Arm healed. He thanked the Grand Coliseum for the shot. Fast forward 1 week. Unified World Academy. Some old guy asks everyone what they thought of the candidates. Everyone agreed watching together worked. Efficient. Someone else chimed in. Said they couldn't just ignore talent to make things easy. The old man shut that down. He wanted student talk. Not system talk. So, swordsmanship horse, who passed. DT examiner, you're in. Simple. They judged everyone else on skill. 3 standouts besides the winners, but people argued. Let others in. They won't keep up. Focus on the best. Nobody objected. Swordsmanship list confirmed. Done. Until someone asks about candidate 513. Red-haired Professor Ariel, she wants to know. They pull up Gray's video. Smiling, they were sure he'd win. But needing traps to beat the instructor, that raised doubts. Plus, good technique, 0 strength. They felt he was outmatched the whole time. So, candidate 513, rejected. Ariel thought it was a waste. They watched together. Still missed something huge. Fast forward to the next day. Everyone's at the clock tower. Gray's staring at his application, waiting. Then, The swordsmanship results dropped. 6 approved. They read 5 names. None were Gray. Then all 6. Still not him. Approved candidates had to cross the bridge, complete enrollment by day's end. Everyone else, their forms started burning. Gray realized he failed. Seriously. Then boom. Divine Eye special admission announcement. Candidate number 513. Gray, approved. Blue flames consumed his application form. Gray got in through Divine Eye. Never even heard of it before. Commoners started talking trash. Unified World Academy got weak, letting people in shady ways. Gray had 0 connections. Maybe his master helped. An old man shut them down, told them not to disrespect the special admission. Divine Eye was honored, training heroes for over 100 years. Recent Divine Eye picks: Amy White, Bella Albright, Leek Muller. Plus the great Jacob Bloomfield, future hero. The crowd thought these swordsmen were losers. Gray knew better. These 3 fought the Liquidator. Main force, and now, his name sits right next to theirs. Entrance ceremony in 30 minutes. Time to change. Gather in the square out front. Gray shows up in uniform. Academy insignia looking sharp. Students hit the square, wondering if they are even in the right spot. Some guy tells them there is a delay. A mistake. Back up a bit. He positions the stairs. Then casts magic right on the structure. The structure starts cracking apart. Blinding light explodes everywhere. The students just stare, completely shocked by that much magic. Right then, the main building literally rises out of the ground. The instructor tells everyone to grab any seat. They all get it now. Teleportation magic moved the whole thing. Gray figures they just wanted the ceremony somewhere with a view of the school. This is the Unified World Academy flex, teleporting an entire building. Still, 600 candidates for only 30 spots seems a bit dramatic. Gray admits he never studied anything but swords. A friend actually questioned his brains once. She explained this place gathers the absolute best globally. And here they come, students dropping in on balloons and dragons. Then this magical airship, the Strato Queen, shows up. Gray actually rode it once with the Liquidator subjugation squads. It is massive, one of the biggest in the world. They brought it out just for this. Talk about overkill. The Unified World Academy is on another level. Tons of other students are arriving now. The guy with glasses kicks things off. The director drones on forever. Seriously, even this elite ceremony is just like any other boring one. Gray is barely awake. Top students give their greetings. Then the presentation starts. The director calls up Lenhart, the top swordsmanship student, to step forward. Whispers immediately start. You already know, this guy wrecked the examiner during the entrance exam. Rumor has it his sword skills rival any professor here. Lenhart, he asks if he can speak freely. They agree, so he drops a statement on the Unified World Academy. Lenhart tells everyone that even though not all of them got in the usual way, joining the academy with them is an honor. They need to work together to contribute to the world. He is hyped for the days when, as top students, they can chase huge achievements. But then Lenhart drops this. Something here does not belong. He means Professor Ariel and the Divine Eye special admission. That is great. Professor Ariel speaks up. Every student passed a brutal exam. She says even if Lenhart disagrees, kicking students out is a bad idea. Lenhart fires back. He is not talking about normal admissions. He is talking about the student Professor Ariel snuck in. The Divine Eye special admission student. Lenhart demands the student show their face, give back the uniform, and get out right now. Gray has no clue why this guy is so hostile. He is just glad Lenhart does not know his face. Better stay quiet. Professor Ariel says this year's students are lively. Lenhart, dead serious, insists they stop these irregular admissions. Professor Ariel gets right in Lenhart's face. She tells him straight up he is not stronger than Gray. Lenhart freezes. She actually likes his attitude though. So she proposes a bet, her job against Gray's spot. Lenhart asks if she wants him to fight the special admission kid. Ariel says hell no. Gray might actually kill him if he goes all out. As a teacher she cannot risk student lives like that. Lenhart is pissed, but she is dead serious. The bet is about monsters. She knows Lenhart is better at killing monsters than people anyway. Simple rules. They just have to eliminate one target monster she picks. Every round gets stronger. First one who fails loses. If the special admission kid loses, Ariel quits. If Lenhart loses, he has to do whatever she says. Lenhart wants to know the targets before accepting. He is confident but not stupid. Ariel changes the plan. First target, an ogre general. Lenhart flips out. He slams the table. No way he can solo that thing. Professor Ariel says she is asking him to defeat it, but he has a whole year. Lenhart snaps back. If 1 year of training was enough, people would not suffer so much. He demands she pick something else. Lenhart doubles down. If 1 year beats that monster, humanity has 0 problems. Ariel throws in another condition. Tie goes to Lenhart. Gray fails to beat the ogre general. She gets fired. And the special admission kid gets kicked out. Lenhart calls it pure madness. Ariel basically says deal with it, and accepts the bet. Lenhart adds the ogre general cannot be the final challenge. He grabs the pen, signs the magical contract right then. He asks if the kid can actually win. The other students think Ariel lost her mind betting her job. Some say she is washed up, weak, not leaving the academy. Gray is not thrilled. He figures she set that 1 year deadline just for him. Did she stalk him before he enrolled? He realizes she is playing dirty with these terms. Fast forward. Magic Fundamentals class. The professor knows they are shocked by a lecture on day 1. He says they waste 0 days here. Starts with the absolute basics. Using magic. Explains ether. Invisible energy inside everyone. Move ether through circuits. You get magic. He worries this explanation is pointless if they already know it. Theory class wraps up. Gray realizes the real problem. He is stuck in the same class as Lenhart. He desperately wants Lenhart to miss his special admission status. You know, the divine eye. Suddenly, the professor calls him out. Gray was totally spacing. Gray apologizes. Seriously. Busted all the way in the back row. The professor tells the class if they are so confident, show everyone their power. He knows they master basic magic. Sure, they are swordsmen. Not using magic constantly is fine. But swordsmen must know magic basics. How else do you coordinate with mages? Gray realizes his speech is identical to training camp. Same old magic practice. Is it going to be the ether projectile? The professor sees Gray knows this stuff. Asks if he can use magic. Gray says yes. Learned it in training camp. Perfect timing. The professor makes it a duel. Lenhart knows ether projectiles too. Time for them to face off. Lenhart brags about his pre-academy magic training. The professor says there is a power difference, but ether projectiles are not lethal. Then he drops the bomb. Gray is this year's Divine Eye student. Watch what happens next. Every eye in class snaps to Gray. Gray is furious. Secret identity blown. Gray stands up. He is going to show them magic. Lenhart? He wants to show everyone what this academy is really about. Professor calls Gray down. The signal goes. Then they both fire ether projectiles. Gray is not confident. He only practiced this a few days on the battlefield. He is worried he will get hurt. The professor's signals start. Lenhart forms his magic projectile. He wants to show the massive strength difference. Gray creates his own ether magic to hit back. They launch simultaneously. They cancel each other out. The 2 magic spheres collide, but Gray's sphere overpowers his rivals. It flies right at Lenhart. He is terrified. The professor jumps in. A magic shield saves the kid. Damn, the professor's shield shatters too. The magic explodes. Every student feels the impact. Lenhart definitely does. Professor rushes to Lenhart, checking for injuries. Lenhart is fine. But the professor knows he could have died. The barrier barely weakened the magic. Students ask how Gray did that. Gray actually thinks his spell was weak. Was the ether projectile he learned in the subjugation squad different? Gray asks if the others did something similar. Professor explains Gray's projectile quality is just different. He warns everyone that is not normal ether. It is super compressed ether. Nobody there ever heard of super compressed ether. Even professors struggle to make it. Gray did it perfectly. The professor drops this bomb. He has never seen an ether projectile this strong. Nobody in the entire academy can copy it. Suddenly everyone agrees the Divine Eye admission made the right call. But great, he thinks something is off. He tells them every spell in the subjugation squad was like that. Are they messing with him? Because he genuinely thinks anyone can do this with practice, the professor just chuckles. He immediately asks Gray to transfer to the magic course, promising a personal recommendation. Gray shuts that down fast, no transfer. The professor, still stuck on the fact that Gray pulled off ether compression, he made super compressed ether. And at his age, insane, he calls Gray an unparalleled prodigy, even for this academy. Whoever said this kid had no talent clearly knew nothing. The whole room is stunned. This professor never praises anyone, and now he won't shut up. He declares it a total crime against magic if Gray does not study. Gray remembers this technique. Back in the day, nobody really understood compressed ether. We call it life force now. His old instructor explained that real magic is hard. You have to compress ether inside your body before letting it rip. Funny thing is, in the future, everyone hates this technique. They think it is weak and useless. So Gray asks the professor about OD. Guess what? The professor blanks. Gray realizes Isira knows nothing about OD. That means his subjugation squad training is actually future tech. He has to watch his back. He cannot just share this with anyone. Gray just shuts it down. He loves swords. Period. No magic course for him. The professor respects the call but tells Gray his door is always open. Back in his seat, the professor drops a bomb. He will not yell at Gray for spacing out anymore. This lecture, way too basic for him. Gray can literally leave whenever he wants. Everyone else is losing their minds. Lenhart especially looks at Gray differently now. Then Professor Ariel sends a note. She wants Gray in her office after class. Gray figures Professor Carlos complained about his fencing. He expects Ariel to push him to switch majors. He walks in and bam, ambush. Someone lunges with a sword. Gray blocks it like it is nothing, pure instinct against this blue-haired girl. He knows her from somewhere. Ariel just grins. She knew she was right about him. Della did not hold back at all. Gray was perfect. Gray realizes it. That is Bella Albright, the sorceress. Ariel tells the other professors they should just quit. They could not even tell Bella was going all out. They admit defeat and pay up. Turns out they were betting on him. Ariel wins and hands Gray a gold coin. But the professors notice something. He did not use his dominant arm to block, like he is protecting a bad injury. They figure it is worse than it looks. Gray cannot believe they figured all that out just by watching him. Ariel basically said, if they couldn't see that, they shouldn't be professors at the Unified World Academy. Then she dropped a bomb. She knew about Gray's arm since the admission exam. That's why she made the bet and kicked them out. The professors admitted Gray had potential, but they warned him. If that injury didn't heal, he was out of the academy. Once they left, Ariel immediately switched to magic. She heard Gray used compressed ether in Professor Carlos's class. Professor Carlos actually went to Ariel's office. He wanted Gray transferred to the magic course. Ariel refused. She thought Gray belonged with a sword, not magic. She knew he wasn't just good at compressing ether. Gray saw she figure everything out instantly. He decided not to lie. She wanted his trick. Promised not to tell anyone. She even offered a reward. Ariel admitted this was all about Bella Albright. Gray almost called her a sorceress. That would have been bad. Ariel explained Bella was a genius at theory, but terrible at practice. She just couldn't compress ether right. Gray already heard Bella struggled with this. Now he understood why. When he used super compressed ether, he didn't do it normally. There was a way to use it without actually compressing it, so Bella wouldn't need to go to Professor Bradley. Gray froze. Professor Varian Bradley. Everyone knew him. Varian Bradley was infamous in the magical world. He experimented on humans, murdered them. In the future, he would cause magical disasters. Thousands would die. History's worst magical criminal, still running free. Ariel explained, if Bella couldn't pull off super compressed ether by year's end, they'd send her to Bradley for surgery. Gray couldn't believe it. Insane. They called it enhancement. Really? Human experimentation. Nobody knew yet, but Ariel knew Bradley already killed people. Bella was terrified. But she faces expulsion by year's end without that super compressed ether. Professor Ariel wanted Bella Albright out of the academy. Better that than letting him butcher her. This knowledge didn't exist yet. Gray worried about changing history. He remembered the Liquidator wiping everyone out. Brutal. Gray had to change that hell. No way he lets it happen. so he decides to teach Bella Albright super compressed ether. They head to the arena. Gray spills everything he knows about magic. They sign a magical contract, total secrecy. Gray asks Bella and Professor Ariel what they think. Ariel is blown away. Deep knowledge. Bella found it short. Super organized. Like a magic class from hundreds of years in the future. She thinks Gray just pushed magic history forward 100 years. Actually, Gray learned all this from a lecture Bella Albright gave 10 years in the future. He keeps that quiet. Professor Ariel could not verify half of what Gray said. But Bella Albright, she believed it. Nothing contradicted current magic theory. Fastest way to know is testing it. That is why they are here. If Gray is right, the spell works. Della unleashes her power. Magic surges through her staff. Gray remembers the stories. Della's full power could torch an entire city. Rumor said she had zero control. Bella conjures the magic, an intense glow. Boom, the explosion makes Gray scream. He is right in the middle of it. A tower of fire surrounds him. Insane power. If Della had not grabbed control right then, Gray was dead. Fire climbs Gray's arm, then stops. She saved him. Bella is thrilled. She finally controlled ether the way Gray taught. And then, a massive fire dragon bursts from her staff. Della actually laughs, but her ether is gone. She collapses unconscious. Ariel explains she fainted, magic source empty. Ariel thinks it is amazing Bella pulled that off so fast, still out cold. Della mumbles the super compressed ether theory is incredible, not her. Funny thing, that theory is hers, future hers, anyway. Ariel says Bella can do it now, no surgery needed. She is just happy they dodged that risky surgery with Bradley. Bella kept control. Ariel explains that surgery boosts magic output. The cost? You lose control. Nobody knows exactly how it works. Sounds like it shatters your limiter. Ancient sorceresses got wrecked by their own power because of it. Anyway, thanks to Gray, Della can make super compressed ether now. Contract fulfilled. Now it is Ariel's turn to hold up her end. Time to fix Gray's arm. She casts a spell. Magical butterflies swarm his arm. Just like that, his right arm works perfectly. Gray thanks her. Potions did nothing for him. Ariel snaps back. Do not compare her nerve magic to cheap potions. She tells him to swing his sword. Check the movement. Gray draws it. Looks normal. He busts out some lightning fast moves that says it still feels off. Even with fixed nerves, magic cannot heal soul wounds. Ariel admits current magic cannot prove souls exist. But she believes her secret eye sees them. Gray's soul is healing naturally, slowly, as long as he takes it easy. Gray thinks about skipping practice. Ariel says train normally. She wants to know what swordsmanship hurts a soul like that. Decides, someone actually uses their soul to move swords. Ariel asks, you know Amy White? Amy White, the future sword saint nobody knows yet. Ariel thinks Gray learned from her. His style looks just like hers, but there is a tiny difference. Gray knows his actual teacher, slightly better than Amy. He also knows future Amy will catch up to his mentor eventually. Gray just says he learned at a hometown dojo. Smooth. He changes the subject fast. Can swordsmanship really damage a soul? Ariel says hell no. Normal swordsmanship cannot do that. Then she asks about that weird power inside him. Gray realizes her shining eye sees everything. She sees his power leaking through the chain door. Gray remembers that door. He knows she actually saw it. You cannot just guess that stuff. Ariel drops a bomb. She has seen that aura before. Gray asks if other mages had it. She says yes, but she does not know if they are even human. They call them liquidators. She sees his face. She knows he knows. Gray never expected that name now. Ariel did not expect him to know it either. But she is not shocked. He brought future knowledge back. Gray gets it. Future knowledge. Nobody else knows. She asks what he understands about the Liquidator. Gray says it is a massive threat to humanity. Stop it before it appears. Destroy it no matter what. Ariel agrees. Dangerous. Bradley is dead set on these experiments. Gray asks, what is his link to the Liquidator? The professor drops a bomb. Bradley is trying to summon the thing. Gray is stunned. No one told him humans created the Liquidator. Before, the Academy acted like they just knew where it would pop up. He gets it now. The Academy was involved in summoning it the whole time. Gray wants to shut this down immediately. Ariel explains she cannot stop it. The guy running it is a professor, same rank as her. Gray asks, "Who did you try to warn then?" She cannot say not aloud, unless an order comes from way up. Nobody can stop this experiment. Gray realizes the academy bosses are way out of reach. But Varian Bradley is a criminal that has to change things, right? In the future, that psycho professor killed dozens of women with his illegal experiments. Gray knows exactly where he did it. He tells Ariel, "Let's catch him red-handed." She says no. Breaking into his lab is a crime. Without hard proof, they both get arrested. She asks, "Do you actually have evidence? If not, forget it." Brutal, even knowing Bradley is dangerous, their hands are tied. So, the professor changes the subject, asks if he wants to control his power. Ariel knows a guy, a professor good with weird forces. Hefkit Longfellow. Gray recognizes the name. That is the guy who trained the Sword Saint. Ariel sets up private training for tomorrow. Gray came here to master this power. He thanks her. Gray did not think he would find a lead this fast. Next day he meets the professor and starts running. Why is he running? He is supposed to be getting private lessons. Hefkit sees Gray spacing out in the forest. Tells him to speed up, run until his body hits its limit, burn every drop of strength. Then the soul wakes up. Hefkit says no swords until Gray is empty. Gray figures there is a reason for this, but he keeps thinking about Varian Bradley. Should he be running while that criminal is loose? Fast forward 1 week, Ariel asks about training. Gray says it is just running, barely any sword work. Gray feels stronger though. Ariel says that is classic Hefkit. Suddenly the butler interrupts, a letter for Professor Ariel. Ariel reads it. Her face goes grim. It is a report. Della Albright is making super compressed ether. But wait, the report says Bella got close. Tests show she did not actually compress it. So they cannot officially recognize her power. Varian Bradley's letter basically said the contract stands. The operation is happening. Gray thought the guy was completely insane. Ariel knew Varian Bradley meant to force Bella Albright into that surgery. The contract was airtight. No way for the girl to say no. The only escape. Varian Bradley cancels himself. Or maybe Bella Albright gets expelled. Or the operation just stops. So Ariel asks Gray to help. She demands he give up Varian Bradley's lab location so they can expose the criminal. Gray just scoffs at her. He reminds her she said going there without proof was dangerous. But Ariel is all in on Gray. She's ready to find that evidence. She figured she already started by trusting Gray. Her divine eye confirmed he was telling the truth the whole time. Ariel tells Gray to lead the way. Together they will expose Varian Bradley. Gray says the lab is near Torwell Village. Ariel remembers an authorized academy lab on Torwell Mountain. Gray gets it. Varian Bradley is running illegal experiments in an authorized lab. Ariel asks, or else would be better. Nobody suspects anything. Varian Bradley spends tons of time there. Plus no professor messes with another colleague's lab. Ariel knows they just need proof of Varian Bradley's crimes. They wouldn't get blamed for breaking in. Right then, Bella Albright knocks and bursts in. She tells Professor Ariel she got a letter from Varian Bradley too. Ariel snatches the letter. She tells her student she's handling this. Della Albright asks if she's going after Varian Bradley just for her. Professor Ariel says she's got it covered. Gray cuts in. He can help. Della Albright says it's her mess. She wants in too. Ariel's worried that psycho professor does human experiments. He might grab one of them. Who knows what Varian Bradley is capable of? Gray argues that's exactly why she can't go alone. He can use that same power he used to crush the Ogre General. He can help. Della Albright, a Divine Eye special admission student, tells Ariel they need to choose their own path. Professor Ariel gets it. Even if she stops them now, Gray and Bella are going after Varian Bradley. You already know. Fine. They can go. One condition. No matter what, their safety comes first. The two students agree. Cut to the mountains. They find Varian Bradley's hidden lab. Della Albright can barely believe he's running illegal experiments here. Insane. Professor Ariel knows it. She says they're finding evidence right now. Gray is sure too. Bella Albright trusts them both. She asks if they can grab the proof easily. Ariel explains Varian Bradley should be at the Society of Magic conference. The main entrance is probably loaded with traps. so they need to slip in through the side. Breaking into an academy-authorized lad is a crime. Right now, though, it is necessary. Ariel tells Bella she can turn back. Della Albright stands firm. Ariel tells her not to flatter herself. They are not doing this just for her. Gray says stopping this is for the greater good. If they do not act, countless people get sacrificed. Ariel thinks that is a bit dramatic. But she agrees, these experiments must stop. They are not risking their lives just for Bella Albright. Then they move fast, casting spells against Varian Bradley's lab. They blow the doors wide open to wreck the traps. They blast a hole in the wall, and wow, people trapped in cells, starving. Ariel says they will not need to look hard for proof of Varian Bradley's crimes. One look, 14 forbidden spells, that alone is a massive crime. Plus unauthorized human experiments, that is the worst offense. In the center, an altar covered in candles and a magic symbol. The plan is grab the evidence and go. They wonder if they should free the prisoners now. Gray says they cannot wait. Varian Bradley could return any time, right then. Varian Bradley steps out of the shadows. Brutal. Ariel asks about the conference. Varian Bradley says he sent a double. He had a crucial experiment right here. Varian Bradley says he just got fresh materials, wants to use them immediately. Then he spots 3 intruders in his hidden lab. Plans change. He wanted better test subjects anyway. People with real magical potential, not average nobodies. He still has no clue how they found him. But here is the thing. Nobody knows they are here. If they vanish, who suspects Varian Bradley? Exactly, he decides to make them his new guinea pigs. Their sacrifice pushes magic past its limits. No way they leave alive. He will put them to good use. Boom. Magic explodes right in his face. Della Albright unleashes a blast from her staff. Varian Bradley just shields himself. Magnificent, he says. Ariel's divine eye still has it. He figures the special admission kid is talented. Wants to watch those divine eye recruits closely now. That little trick did not impress him. An academy student trying to kill her professor though. That is bold. She missed her shot. Deader than him, ending her right here. Ariel yells to retreat. They have the evidence. Let the academy handle the rest. Varian Bradley is not letting them leave alive. He unleashes dark magic. Ariel throws up a barrier. Della Albright thanks Ariel. She thought she was done for. Varian Bradley calls that dark magic his devouring flame, the result of his research. It eats defensive magic, burns it as fuel, makes itself stronger. Needs a rare material to cast, but it is invincible. Ariel is holding on for dear life. It is not looking good. A crack splits her barrier. That devouring flame starts leaking through. Ariel yells at Bella Albright to get the spell memory bag to Gray. Heathkit will know exactly what to do with it. Just as the barrier fails, Della Albright throws up her own magic. Ariel screams at her to run. Stop helping. Della sees the professor's shield shattering. She tells Ariel to let her handle this. Ariel flashes back to their promise, stay alive, that was the priority. Varian Bradley's magic is twisted. Normal defense spells are useless here. Suddenly, Ariel's barrier explodes. She shouts that she will buy time. Della Albright just throws up another shield. She says she has got this. His spell just needed a different kind of defense. It is not even that strong. Only mages, like Varian Bradley, know the theory behind that devouring flame. But Bella says someone just taught her a new trick. Varian Bradley demands the traitor's name. He is absolutely furious. He says he will kill her fast if she talks. Della Albright just says it is a secret, but she confirms the traitor is a fencing student. She is thinking about Gray's lessons. He basically set all this up. Varian Bradley realizes she is playing games. He grabs a crystal. He screams he will burn them alive. He smashes it. Tormented souls swarm the group. They want to eat them, turn them into living fire. They fuse into one massive, gigantic monster and massive black flame. Gray asks Bella Albright if she is okay. She says the barrier will hold, but her mana is almost gone. Della tells Gray to attack Varian Bradley. She is busy defending. Professor Ariel activates the divine eye. She spots a weak point in the flames. Time to project her magic outside the barrier. She projects mana outside Bella Albright's barrier. She launches it right at Varian Bradley's weak spot. Powerful electric bolts shoot towards the villain. Varian Bradley noticed Ariel's counterattack. The bolts could not reach him though. Gray remembered something. Professor Ariel had the weakest offensive magic among the faculty. Varian Bradley's flame absorbed Ariel's spells. Della Albright visibly staggered. She was almost out of mana. This is why Professor Ariel wanted to run. Gray said this was better than all three of them dying. Gray insisted on confronting Varian Bradley from the start. He did not blame Ariel. Ariel warned him not to use that power yet. The damage could be irreversible. Gray swallowed hard. He understood. Della Albright said she felt no ether. Was that magic? She knew explaining that power as just magic was impossible. Ariel wanted Della Albright to stop investigating. Do not speak about what she witnessed. Professor Ariel warned her. Promise, or else she would erase her memories. Della Albright understood. Should they make another magical contract? Professor Ariel agreed. The contract appears right then. They sign it. Gray looks at the victims. He tells the others they need to help. These people are just magically asleep. They are safer now. Still, they need the Academy Hospital. Ariel whips up glowing magic cocoons to keep them safe. Handled. Now they push deeper into the mountain lab. Turns out these illegal experiments use human sacrifices. They are making magical catalysts or boosting human abilities. Ariel sees nothing about the Liquidator though. Is it somewhere else? Gray knows something is wrong. Tens of thousands died here in his past. How could making a catalyst cause that kind of disaster? Then it hits him. Underground miasma kill everyone in his past. He freezes. The girls see his absolute dread. Something is definitely under this lab. He tells the girls to look for hidden passages. Nothing, but Ariel uses her divine eye. She picks up traces of short-distance teleportation magic. It is a hidden space, 300 meters down. Teleport only. Gray asks if they can get there. Ariel says she can teleport them too. They go for it. Ariel fires up a teleportation circle. She warns them, if there is nothing on the other side. They land on solid ground. Boom! The portal opens, strange structures everywhere. Who knew this massive space was hiding under the facility? Ariel feels ether flooding from all sides. Then she spots it, the main structure right in the center. It is not just pumping out ether. There is another energy mixed in, not magic. The most powerful force Ariel has ever felt. Gray knows exactly what it is, the Liquidator's power. They move toward that central structure. Inside they find a door marked with a weird symbol. A pentagram surrounds the door. Candles lit, power just pours from that room. But no Liquidator. Ariel actually knocks on the door. Della Albright freaks out. Is that safe? Ariel tells her to chill. She opens the door, says it holds 0 power. Just a symbol for some ritual not even happening yet. Ariel explains the power is in the magic circles around it. Not the door itself. Right then, one of those circles starts sparking. Suddenly, the whole magic circle lights up. Blazing intense, Gray is shocked, asks if Ariel is trying to summon the Liquidator right now. Della Albright feels the impact. Says this magic is way too dangerous. Ariel tells them not to panic. Her prediction says this structure cannot summon the Liquidator. However, the space around the door starts tearing open. Complete despair hits them, then just as fast. Everything seems to break down and shut off. Ariel says those devices were not built to summon the Liquidator. They only open a small rift, channeling power directly from where the Liquidator lives. The core they use to crystallize that power, probably human lives. Ariel counts maybe 10 souls used so far. Sacrifices, she figures those people upstairs. Just raw material for this ritual. Della Albright cannot wrap her head around it. Why gather this much power? What is the actual point? Ariel breaks it down. That black flame Varian Bradley used, the crystal boosting it, that is just the blueprint. The final version will not just be flames. Mass-produce this stuff, who knows what happens? Right then, the rifts start closing. The hunter asks, so Bradley was not trying to summon the Liquidator after all. Ariel is not sure, but he failed. The spatial circles hit their limit. Guess that was the best they could do. Della Albright calls the mechanism insanely valuable. She has never seen space folding magic this strong. Ariel agrees. Building just one costs an entire nation's budget. Insane. 8 of these things. Ariel knows some powerful organization funded this. Della Albright thinks the Discar Empire, But Ariel shuts that down. Biggest country or not, the Empire cannot pull off this kind of magical research. Not for a crystal like this. Ariel suspects someone way ahead of them. And here is the thing. The hunter throws out the Unified World Academy. Ariel nods. No other place has the scale or the money. Della Albright is shocked. The Academy. They are supposed to protect the world, not threaten it. Ariel gets why she does not want to believe it. Ariel insists, nobody else can pull this off. But Gray argues that doesn't make the whole Unified World Academy their enemy. Most people there might still be on their side. Before the regression, the Academy's elite forces fought the Liquidator directly. Subjugation teams protected civilians until the end. Gray saw that future. He can't believe the Academy is humanity's enemy. Ariel agrees most act for humanity. They wouldn't allow experiments sacrificing lives. But the Academy has tons of researchers and facilities. Nobody knows the full extent. Whoever backed Varian Bradley had massive support. Bradley couldn't organize this alone. Della Albright asks if they can't trust the Academy. Ariel's watched it from the inside for decades. She knows it's not trustworthy. Most people inside think they're doing what's best. The experimenters probably convinced themselves it's for the greater good. The truth is buried in the shadows. Gray asks if they can find who's behind it. Ariel sees no communication devices. Not even residual magic from the creator. Thorough cleanup. Just as Ariel finished speaking, everything explodes. Damn. Ariel realizes they installed evidence elimination mechanisms. It detonated the moment Bradley left. They plan to lure investigators inside and blow them up. Della Albright wants out right now. The place is falling apart, exploding everywhere. Ariel tells them to chill. These are magical explosives. Academy professors are not that weak. So she throws up a defensive spell. Declares she's not dying like this. Ariel tells them to stay put inside the magic circle. She will protect them. Everything keeps crashing down, but Ariel's magic circle holds. Finally, it teleports them out. Hostages too. Everyone captured got out safe. Della Albright and the hunter thought they were done for. The teleportation dragged too much weight, but Ariel pulled it off. She knows the Academy cannot ignore this now. Fast forward to the next day. Ariel confronts the board of directors. They say the survivors are in the medical wing. The director thanks them for stopping Varian Bradley's illegal experiments. This guy Rodrin Alexandro brings up Bradley's magical machines. Says each one cost more than a whole country's budget, and there were 8 of them. Varian Bradley could not get those alone. Alexandro says they are stolen, intercepted mid-transport. 78 agents eliminated. Ariel and the group are shocked. These criminals did that. Ariel figures some more probably inside the Academy. No way to tell them apart. Ariel's group is furious. The criminals will not be punished. Even if they are in the Academy, Ariel complains. Talent or lineage, it does not matter. Newbies have zero chance to get stronger here. Director Alexandro explains the Academy actually admits and trains criminals. Della thinks that is insane. She wants them punished. Alexandro says the higher-ups do not care. He tells Bella look, even as a director, he is just another subordinate. He is the public face. But his authority means nothing. Get stronger. Then you find out who really runs this place. Prove yourselves. Dig deeper into the secrets. He does not name names, but some veteran has the power to change everything. Gray thinks about surpassing this guy. Then he can change the rules. Alexandra repeats it. Power is everything here. So why could Ariel not handle Varian Bradley? He knows one of the students took Varian down. The director admits the divine eye is sharp. He cannot wait to see the monster she trains. Gray walks down the hall. Those marks on his back are growing. Tower rules this academy. He knows it. To kill the Liquidator, he must uncover the truth. First, focus on training. Get stronger. Suddenly, some kid tries to kick Gray in the face. Gray blocks just in time. The impact knocks him back. The attacker says Gray is tougher than he looks. Annoying, the kid claims Gray acts like he owns the place. Says a rejected special admission student should not be here. Gray pegged him instantly. Another special student hater. He asked if the punk wanted trouble. Paleboy said yes. But then another reject showed up. Ariel appeared. The boy bailed immediately. Tight surveillance kept him from getting closer. Gray knew Varian Bradley definitely sent this guy. Varian Bradley sent that weirdo to stir the pot. He ran to a teacher, claimed Gray kicked him. Said Divine as students shouldn't even walk the halls. No weapons, no injuries. The teacher couldn't do anything officially. Her advice. Gray should just hunt the guy down and beat him up. Gray and Ariel stood stunned. Ariel said she technically couldn't allow it, but she would totally look the other way. Gray decided to let it go. No more trouble. Ariel asked if people really hated Divine Eye students that much. Gray said they mostly just got mocked. This was the first time it got physical though. Ariel hated that. She wished she had more authority in the academy. Gray knew if Ariel had given up her position, he wouldn't even be here, so he dropped it. Della was determined to prove Divine Eye wasn't a mistake. Gray reminded Ariel she had one too. You already know. In the future, these special students become the heroes fighting the Liquidator. Ariel thanked him, but she told him to stop acting like it was someone else's problem. Out of everyone, she expected the most from Gray. Amy White, Luke Muller, Jacob Bloomfield. They were special students destined for high levels. But for the first time, she truly believed someone could surpass humanity itself. That person was Gray. Heavy. Gray felt the weight of being compared to those heroes. But he snapped out of it, weak thinking. The brain behind Varian Bradley probably still planned to summon the Liquidator. Gray regressed to this timeline to kill that monster. He knew the world's fate rested in his hands. Cut to fencing class. Practical live combat today. The teacher told them to pair up based on the list. Gray focused. You already know the other students would trash talk the Divine Eye kids again. Then he saw his partner, Lenhart, the fencing course's best student, strongest in the first year. The teacher grouped similar skill levels, told everyone not to hold back. Gray thought their skill levels were definitely not similar. He just entered the academy. Why put him against the best? But Gray knew Lenhart hated Divine Eye students. He probably really wanted to beat him. Lenhart calmly walked over. Said he was satisfied being partners, flattered to fight Gray, now that Gray was top of the class. Lenhart claimed he trained harder than anyone just to fight alongside Gray. Gray saw the intense gleam in his smile. He realized Lenhart relished the chance to legally face him. Brace yourself. Both walked eagerly to the center. Everyone started battling. Lenhart immediately charged Gray. Gray blocks Lenhart's heavy strike. Bam! Lenhart follows with a horizontal slash. Gray flies backward. He is not stopping. Lenhart charges again, aura blazing. That slash barely misses Gray. Gray counters with a massive blow. Lenhart blocks it. Lenhart actually says Gray is strong. He cannot believe Gray is not normal admission. Their swords clash super fast, blow after blow. Gray thought he would lose instantly. Guess what? He is keeping up. But Lenhart's brute strength is too much. Gray uses both arms, still not enough. Lenhart's swordsmanship is insane, terrifyingly perfect. Past life experience, master training, none of it makes this easy. Lenhart charges again. Mana pouring out. Gray thinks he is a monster. Everyone is watching now. Gray is actually matching Lenhart. Lenhart says he can do this all day. He is loving it. Gray's stamina is tanking. He cannot last much longer. If not for Professor Heathcote's training, he would be done. Why is Lenhart not even panting? Gray is losing gas fast. He needs to end this right now. Fight like it is real. That is what the professor said. Lenhart raises his arms to attack. There. An opening. Gray dodges under, hand on the ground. He kicks Lenhart, a perfect sweep. Lenhart hits the deck. He is shocked Gray fights so dirty. But the top student cannot lose. Swords at each other's necks. That's how it ends. Gray calls it a draw. Lenhart shakes his head. No way, because right at the end, Gray just swung wild. Lenhart could have run him through. Done. Deleted from existence, but it's practice. So Lenhart aims for Gray's heart, not his neck. Even with gear, that's a huge statement. Lenhart drops a bomb. He says he lost. Crazy. Gray gets it. Real fight versus practice. Lenhart knows fighting isn't just sword skill. Gray admits the kick was kind of cheating, for fencing class anyway, but the professor said treat it real, so no cheating. Lenhart wants round 2. Gray doesn't get why Lenhart held back. Head on he has zero chance, not just technique. Lenhart's stamina blows his away. Then, watch what happens next. Some random student yells stop. Real combat training or not, this is fencing. You only use swords, period. This arrogant kid can't believe a special student is fighting the best. Tells Gray not to brag about his little magic. Gray didn't even pick this fight. Lenhart shuts him down. The professor said Gray is the only one worthy. She nods. Says she paired students with similar strength. Gray is the only match for Lenhart. She tells the kid if he disagrees beat Gray, then he can fight Lenhart. Savage. The guy wants to prove himself. He brags about beating the examiner to get in. Says he shouldn't be compared to people who barely passed or skipped the test entirely. Dylan sees this dude is totally underestimating Gray, treating him like some sideshow. He thinks it's great though. Gray's power needs to be recognized. More importantly, this guy interrupted Lenhart's time with Gray for that crime. Lenhart thinks he deserves to die. Brutal. The teacher says if they hate real combat they can use the fake stages. Gray knows this won't be easy. The guy got in through the normal process. Gray is sure this opponent has more stamina and strength, even with brutal training. You can't beat years of proper nutrition and conditioning. Gray isn't feeling super confident. But he accepts. He won't get expelled if he loses. It's just a practical class. The teacher tells them to go easy. They both take their stances and charge. The other student, Leon, wants to put Gray in his place, calls him a loser. Brace yourself. Swords clash, sparks fly everywhere. Then Gray twists his wrist and throws the guy away. Gray notices his opponent's strikes have zero force. His strength doesn't compare to Gray's. Maybe he's holding back. But then Gray sees the guy fall backward, drops his sword. He goes down head first. Think he gets up. The teacher calls the fight right then. Down. She apologizes. Explains she aimed for the sword but hit the student instead. The kid whines he was caught off guard. Total disaster. Crying. Blood all over his face. He demands a rematch. The professor actually accepts. Lets the fight go until the kid gives up. He charges Gray again with everything he has. Same result. Kid is crying. Totally wrecked. Professor sees how messed up he is and calls the fight. Someone take him to the infirmary. So, this year's representatives are Gray and Lenhart. Professor explains the best first years face the second year champion. Interior battle. The gap is huge. First years have lost 35 times. Professor says a year at the academy means everything. Losing to the second year is just expected. Put up a good fight, you impress. Win. You are an academy miracle. Professor tells them not to stress. Just getting picked is a privilege. Gray thought this interior battle would be way more serious. As a special admission student, he sees the perfect chance to prove his fighting ability. Gray is determined to train hard for that champion. Cut to the school board meeting. The director is discussing Professor Boudreaux's proposal. Boudreaux wants the Divine Eye special admission student, Amy White, expelled. Ariel manages those students. Boudreaux argues Amy White failed the third-year advancement exam. Still, she stayed at the academy because of special admission. Totally unfair. Other students who failed got expelled. Ariel argues Amy White is hitting world-class combat levels. A severe physical side effect holds her back. When Ariel says this, Boudreaux complains it is the same old excuse. Making useless people sound like hidden prodigies. Ariel argues pressuring Amy too early. She could lose her chance forever. Boudreaux is pissed. He says Ariel used these comparisons before. Is her plan keeping someone below academy standards? Ariel shoots back. The academy cultivates exceptional talent. They should keep her even if she does not fit the system. Boudreaux snaps. Special admissions used to be impressive. Now they just take up space. He points to Amy White, Bella Albright, Jacob Bloomfield. The Divine Eye program is losing its greatness. Another professor suggests abolishing the Divine Eye special admission. Ariel is shocked. Cold. Founders established it long ago. It can be abolished just as easily. Another professor says current Divine Eye students are not impressive. The program lost its edge. One mentions Bella Albright improved. Big deal. She has almost no mana. But the former Divine Eye students, they were interesting. So half are for abolition, half against. The legacy makes it worthwhile. Ariel did not expect so many voices against Divine Eye. At this rate, they could actually end the program. Boudreaux says it is outdated. He asks if Ariel thinks she is better at recognizing talent than they are. Ariel wants to say yes, hell yes, but she holds back. She knows it will provoke them. The professors already dislike her. Most care more about the academy benefits if she wants them on her side. She cannot say anything to turn them against her. Boudreaux doubles down. Ariel is past her prime. No valid arguments left. Another professor brings up her past wins. They argue Professor Ariel should retire before ruining her legacy. Add that if she wants to play favorites, she should open her own school. They scoff, saying she would be lucky to find nanny students willing to follow the divine eye now. Ariel knows she can still spot real talent, but these kids need time to develop. Given time, they will prove their worth. She just needs to stop them from getting expelled first. Professor Ariel desperately hunts for a way to stop the expulsions. Then one professor mentions the divine eye student, Gray Lee. You already know who that is. He heard Gray is promising among the first-year swordsmen. Boudreaux is skeptical, says the student does not seem promising. They will decide the divine eye program's future after watching Gray in the upcoming competition. Ariel looks at Heathkit. He shakes his head. No. Professor Ariel states Gray's skill is not built for simulated fights. She adds he only shines in desperate situations. The professor loses it. He snaps back. If the student cannot show his skills in training, he will show nothing in real combat. Ariel snaps. They just do not get it. Gray's skills are not normal swordsmanship. Alexandro cuts the meeting right there. Pointless talk. He agrees. Seeing the divine eye kid fight is smart. The program's fate hangs on Gray's match. Meeting over. Boudreaux cannot wait. Ariel feels totally helpless. Heathkit sees it. She knows Gray's power just does not work in fake fights. He needs time. They want the impossible. Still, she desperately hopes Gray can save these kids with insane potential. Protect the future of special admission. The day finally arrives. First years versus second years. Brace yourself. Here come the fighters. Lenhart, top first year. Lunel Hartman, top second year. First year challenger Gray Lee, and second year challenger Diebel Rudartle. Gray recognizes Diebel, that jerk who kicked him in the hallway for nothing. Every professor is watching from the stands. Lenhart does not get the crowd. The top second year says he has never seen this many professors at a fight. Only 3 showed up last year. Why so many now? Ariel suggests they are here for Gray, praises her own good taste. Boudreaux cuts in. Lenhart is right. Everyone is here for the final battle of divine admission, he adds. The class is done. Brutal. Gray is shocked. He asks Ariel if it is true. Ariel knows the truth will make him push to heart. She fears he will use that power. In his state, fatal. Ariel tells Gray Boudreaux is just trying to rattle him. Do not let it affect the fight, but guess what? Gray sees his teacher is visibly trembling. Gray pretends to believe her. He knows the truth. Boudreaux wants them humiliated against the second year. He thinks their pathetic loss proves divine eye fails. Gray is not letting that go. He hates Boudreaux insulting Ariel. Ariel is surprised Gray defends her judgment. Boudreaux snaps back. Everyone knows Gray will lose pathetically. Gray says he will prove him wrong. Boudreaux is furious at the kid's arrogance. They separate to prepare. Ariel appreciates Gray standing up for her. But what is he planning? Against the top student, maybe his practical swordsmanship gives him a shot. But he drew a nightmare opponent. Diebel Rudartle. Bradley surgically boosted Diebel's reflexes to inhuman levels. Diebel completely counters Gray's ambush tactics. Ariel is terrified he will use his secret ability. She begs Gray not to worry about her. Do not push too hard. Gray just looks relaxed, says he knows. The top student combat is announced. Representative steps forward. Ariel is protected with magic. Trigger their shield. That's a win. Just like real combat, top student battle, right now. Lenhart charges the second-year top student, unleashes massive sword strikes. The other guy blocks everything, counterattacks. Lenhart drops fast, kicks the guy right in the face. But Lenhart knows he can't keep up Gray's pace. He's gassed. The rival says Lenhart's stronger than first year. But he shakes off the kick, says he's speeding things up. He ramps it up, asks if Lenhart can keep up. Lenhart dodges a few. Then bam, caught off guard. barrier triggered. Linnell wins the top student fight. Next up, challenger fight. Representatives step forward. Lenhart passes Gray, wishes him luck. Tells him he better stay in the academy, especially after all that talk. Gray thinks about all the monsters he fought before the regression. Compared to that, Deeble Rudartle is totally beatable. Deeble Rudartle approaches, dragging his sword. Says he'll send Gray to hell, just like he did Varian Bradley. Interior selection fight. Now, Gray charges Deeble Rudartle head-on. Swords clash, sparks fly everywhere. Deeble Rudartle throws Gray back. Gray feels the weight. His right arm starts shaking, holding the sword. Ariel said his reflexes and strength were boosted. Gray sees the gap. None of his tricks will work against this creep. How does he even fight him? Gray thinks about his secret ability, but Ariel warned him. Never use that power, no matter what, even if this tournament is huge. It is not worth his life, using it could literally kill him. Plus the arena barrier might not hold. He could erase this guy. Deeble charges straight at him. Gray needs to protect that divine eye spot. He is ready to risk his life, but he does not want to kill the guy. Deeble drops low, delivers a massive sword strike. Gray blocks, counterattacks downward. Gray defends another hit. Deeble's physical stats and reflexes are just too much. Insane power. He sees Deeble has technique. He is holding back. Think he backs down. Gray sees that sinister smile. Malicious eyes. Deeble comes in with a strike Gray cannot dodge. He knows he is getting hit. He throws his sword forward. Gray knows he would not have made it in time. The creep weak and the attack on purpose forced Gray to defend. And here is the thing. From the stands, Ariel sees purple power pulsing in Deeble's heart. That energy is totally one-sided, only concentrated on his left. People are saying this year's second years are nasty, could cause trouble anytime. The Divine Eye student is getting wrecked. Everyone sees it. Proof the Divine Eye spot should be gone. Boudreaux argues waiting for students to develop just creates chaos. Everyone agrees, he is such a thoughtful student, always thinking about the academy. Ariel orders them to stop the fight. Too dangerous. Boudreaux just mocks her. A simulated fight presents no danger, he says. Another teacher explains the arena has a protection spell. Fatal attacks get automatically blocked, so the students can fight seriously. Ariel knows the truth. That protection spell will not save Gray. Suddenly, purple malevolent mana explodes from the second year. Darkness swallows his arm and sword. He charges a massive attack. Boom! A mana explosion splits the arena in half. The protective barrier itself is destroyed. The attack nearly hits Boudreaux. Ariel warned them. Ariel is furious. Bradley implanted this magic in his student. The spectator barrier is too strong. She cannot use her prison magic. Ariel orders the tournament cancelled. Deactivate the barrier now. Emergency. She screams for Gray to run. Stopping this from outside will take too long. Gray knows running is pointless. Turning his back means death. Students scream in despair. The arena trembles. She warns him teacher spells take 30 seconds. Ariel thinks it is too early for this, but she trusts Gray. She yells for him to think of his body as his sword. Ariel yells for him to move his body with his power. Gray starts thinking how. He dodges an insanely fast, strong blow. Determined to win, his teacher believes in him. Only one option. He and his sword must become one. Gray focuses hard. A dark blow rushes him. Gray stands still. The moment it hits. Boom. Insane mana explosion. Watch what happens next. Right then, Gray flashes behind his opponent, glowing red. The guy is shocked. To Gray, he is moving super slow. Gray got ridiculously fast. He strikes from behind. A brutal sword smash right to the face. Brutal. The opponent's protective barrier pops up. Saves him from the direct hit, but the barrier starts cracking. Residual force still hammers the guy. Deeble Rudartle flies, smashes through the arena walls. Gray actually broke the barrier, messed his opponent up bad. Professor Heathcote asks if the other second-year student, Deeble Rudartle, is okay. Medics get called. Deeble, Bradley's student, starts getting up. He stands, dark magic pouring out. Looks totally fine. Think he backs down. Ariel yells for Gray to stay sharp. Not over yet. Suddenly, Deeble Rudartle charges, spamming dark magic. Dark magic tentacles wreck the arena, attack Gray. Ariel asks if the barrier is still up. Professor Hefkit confirms he is trying. Gray keeps dodging, high-speed jumps. Teeple, attacking from range, suddenly closes in, charges Gray, another sword clash. Sparks fly everywhere. Gray realizes this guy is no normal human. Insane speed, crazy strength, but Gray is far from normal himself. He is pushing immense power right now. Gray breaks the clash. Flashes behind Deeble Rudartle, but surprise. The guy looks totally fine after Gray's strongest hit. Gray attacks from behind. Big mistake, he underestimates the speed. Bam, he gets hit. He coughs up a ton of blood. Ariel screams. Terrified her star student is dying. Intense pain hits. Gray knows if he does not react, he loses this fight. Brutal, he needs more power. Now, Gray gets obsessed. His aura shifts visibly, then he cuts both of his opponent's arms clean off. Some crazy power surges inside Gray, forces that fatal blow. Darkness pours from the enemy's severed stumps. The teachers watch, totally shocked. Finally the barrier drops, they rush in, stop the fight. They restrain Deeble Rudartle. Gray leans on his sword. Exhausted, a sharp pain stabs his heart. Blood gushed from his wounds, he is messed up bad. Ariel instantly casts healing magic, her student is dying. She orders the other teachers to help heal Gray. Ariel feels his vitals stabilize. Moments later he stands up. The teachers are shocked. How is he okay? Ariel realizes something, even after using all his power. Gray's soul is totally fine. Ariel announces, a healing magic fixed everything. No more injuries. The strategy worked. It weakened the counterattack just like Hefkit predicted. Ariel snaps at Hefkit. Without that healing magic, Gray dies. Hefkit fires back. He argues they reduced the damage enough for the healing to work. Anyway, Hefkit planned to support the counterattack alone. That would take time. Crazy stuff happened, but Deeble Rudartle is already heading to the infirmary. And here is the thing. Through all this chaos, one thing is clear. Gray's attack triggered the second-year representative's protective barrier. So, the first-year representative, Gray, wins. The students go wild, insane. Historic, Gray just beat a second year. This Divine Eye student ended the first year's 35 consecutive defeat streak. Hefkit declares that count meaningless now. After this fight, Ariel's judgment is obviously right. Everyone has to admit it. Scrapping the Divine Eye class, forget about it. The director feels ashamed. He almost threw away massive talent. Ariel deeply thanks Gray, still recovering from his wounds. The people pushing to scrap the class need to look in the mirror. Boudreaux is in a tight spot, totally ashamed. Gray lies, think he gets away with it. He claims he had no idea he could use that ability. Ariel knows that is garbage. Gray used it freely against the Ogre General. He just hopes his teacher backs his play. To stop the Liquidator, Gray needs to be the only one with this power. Ariel gets it. She knows he's not acting like this is his first life. She trusts Gray, so she backs his play. Tells the director Gray's power breaks normal magic rules, but she can see it. Ariel claims she and Hefkit helped Gray control it. Says she's still figuring out how to make it stronger. She asks to run point on Gray's power. After that fight, Director Alexandro can't say no. Director Alexandro hands her the whole Divine Eye group. Says the Academy will help however they can. They save the Divine Eye program. Nice. Next stop. The underground alley to check on Deeble Rudartle. Director wants the Divine Eye kids close. Ariel checks the scene. That power on Deeble Rudartle? Almost identical to the Liquidator. No doubt. Same crystals from the lab. Director asks about Deeble. Ariel says he's gone. Ariel explains it. The second that attack started, Deeble Rudartle was finished. The power corrupted him instantly. Gray was the target, obviously. Payback for taking out Varian Bradley. They used Deeble Rudartle after Varian died. Ariel and Gray knew a third group was pulling strings. Someone bigger was behind this. Ariel said she would use her connections to hunt them down. She felt it in her gut. The Academy's higher-ups were dirty. Gray offered to help his Divine Eye teacher. He said he could use his power now without wrecking his soul, but Gray admitted the physical toll was brutal, worse than before. Hefkit said it was time to kick the training up a notch. Ariel promised Gray he would master this tower. Conversation over. Gray heads to the training ground. Heathkit warns him, "This training is dangerous. It hurts." He said they could take it slow. Safer options existed. Gray chose the hard way. Heathkit told him to get ready. Gray focused. Become one with the blade. He remembered that feeling. A red aura starts bleeding from the sword. It spreads through his whole body. He is ready. He throws a straight strike. Boom. Armor on the field just disintegrates. He is running now, slashing targets left and right. The teachers watching are stunned. He is so fast. Gray hits another attack, another armor gone. But then the backlash hits. He starts coughing up blood. After one last spinning slash, he drops to his knees, weak. Gray blacks out, completely unconscious. The teachers immediately spam recovery magic on him. In seconds, Gray feels fine and stands up. Heathkit says he is enduring more than last time. His body will learn to take the hit. Gray did not even notice. He was locked in. Deep in flow. Now he feels it. The power hurts. Bad. The professor says the pain means he is pushing past his limits. Heathkit gets it. This training is brutal. Continuing is Gray's call. Brutal. Think he backs down. Gray pushes on. Another round. Then Ariel shows up. Stop. Once a day. That is it. Gray argues his soul is fine. His body is healed. Ariel counters. Recovery magic fixes physical wounds, but more severe damage. His nerves will go haywire, confuse his senses. He knows this better than anyone. It means losing his hand again. Heathkit agrees. He would hesitate to do this multiple times a day. One mage asks why the rush. Gray is already strong. Ariel takes the blame. She pushed Gray to fight Bradley. Now people want revenge. Deeble was just the start. People are hiding in the academy shadows. Criminal groups. The ones who stole the magic catalyst for Bradley. Lock Gray away with heavy security. She does not know if they can protect him. Getting stronger is his only path. You already know. Gray insists stopping the Liquidator experiment was his choice. Not hers, his real goal. Stop the Liquidator. Ariel says Gray is exceptional. She will do everything to maximize his power. Heathkit sees Ariel's got a plan. She asks Gray, "Want the fastest, safest way to get stronger?" Heathkit thinks a new sword is the answer. The Academy issued one was supposed to be top tier. Ariel says it's fine for a freshman, but not for Gray. No regular sword can handle his power. She sees the broken sword and decides to take him to her vault. Heathkit can't believe she's giving him one of her weapons. She spins a key in the air. A portal opens. She says Gray deserves it. Gray is completely stunned. They step inside. Piles of gold. Tons of magic stuff. The place is massive. Ariel starts looking for the weapons. They find them. Ariel tells Gray to pick one. Gray looks around. Man, these swords look dangerous. Heathkit doubts he'll ever see a better collection. Ariel admits it's tough to choose. Normally, she tests every single one, but with Gray's power, they only get one shot per sword. So, they'll test them one by one, starting with the sharpest. Gray grabs this huge, heavy sword. Ariel says it cuts perfectly, no matter the weight. A wooden totem appears for him to test it. Gray sets his stance, twists his body. Boom, a massive strike. The totem is completely destroyed. The blade is perfect. Ariel says it is powerful, but maybe too heavy for a real fight. Heathkit chimes in. Sharpness does not matter if you cannot hit anything. Still, good to have. It will crush big heavy opponents. Ariel gives Gray a magical storage pouch. Now the weight is not a problem. Gray asks if he can just borrow it. Ariel says giving it is better than letting it collect dust. Besides, she is trusting it to someone who can actually use it. When Gray faces the guy behind Varian, the Liquidator summoner, that guy will regret not having this sword. Gray remembers getting destroyed by the Liquidator. Pure motivation. He thanks the professor for the loan. Heathkit warns him. Do not show this off unless you are using it on the market. It is worth at least 10 billion and 10,000 gold coins. Gray is shocked. He hesitates. It is too expensive. Ariel refuses to take it back. She is giving it, not lending it. Gray cannot believe she is trusting him with this. Ariel says she would gladly pay 10 billion to protect the Divine Eye special admission. This sword is just a late reward for saving it. Then she playfully threatens him. Is the Divine Eye not even worth 10 million? Gray immediately backs down. Thanks Ariel. Gray promises to take care of that giant blade. Ariel also wants him to get a normal weapon, for everyday fights. Gray never imagined Ariel's treasure would be this impressive. Heathkit says nobody has an eye as sharp as hers. With that divine eye, she can make all the money she wants. Ariel asks Heathkit which weapon he recommends. He points to one with a golden hilt. Gray picks up the thin, ordinary blade to test it. He makes a few fast, precise strikes. It seems well made, but Gray feels something is off. Heathkit immediately says that sword does not suit Gray. Then he mentions an experimental sword. Maybe that one fits better. Heathkit shows him a sword with glowing blue designs. He tells Gray to try wielding this spatial sword. Gray touches the hilt. It glows. Impressive. Gray notices the blade is not sharp. Weird. Heathkit explains it is a new tech experiment, not for real combat. It is super durable blunt steel. Gray gets it. With his power, maybe he does not need a sharp edge. Heathkit argues normal swords cannot handle Gray's power. If he keeps getting stronger, regular swords will just break. Gray needs to think about a future where he does not rely on an edge, so this tech sword could be perfect. Heathkit shows off the tech sword. It doesn't just cut, it mangles stuff. Ariel still thinks Gray should stick to normal swords. She asks if he wants to try other weapons. Axes. Maybe. Gray wants to test every sword there. He spots a red sword, lighter, stronger. Then he sees another one, super long. Guess what he feels? Weird energy. Ariel says some graduate left it. Not famous, but she lets him try it. Gray's totally into it. He picks it up, fits like a glove, gleaming blade, perfect cuts. It feels like he's used it his whole life. Easiest sword ever. Seriously. Ariel wants him to test another one for power compatibility. Gray asks if it's okay if he breaks the graduate sword. Ariel says the sword would rather be used than sit idle. Gray agrees. He asks the creator's name. Ariel says Metallum Norum. Insane. That's the greatest magic blacksmith ever. Gray can't believe he's holding his work. They head to the arena. Time to test strength and durability. Ariel wants Gray to push it to the limit. But first, she hands him the tech sword. They start with the weirdest sword first. See how Gray's power messes with it. Gray focuses. Max mana. Connection lost. He tries again. Wraps it in magic. Tries to become one with the blade. Nothing. His power will not turn on. Weird. He tells Ariel it feels totally normal. Must be the sword. They ditch it. Clearly not working with his special stuff. Time for the normal sword. Ariel pulls one from a magic box. Gray focuses again. Ready to strike. Boom. Power on. Intense aura. Then a voice in his head. No more time. It says something is coming. Heathkit tells Ariel the other sword should handle the power release fine. Gray ignores the voice and attacks. Fast. Strong. Same power. Way smoother swing. He absolutely destroys the training armor. He feels lighter. Running. Striking. Easy. More armor breaks. The mages watching know he is different now. Gray is everywhere, wrecking every armor he sees. So fast, he feels like he is flying. He cuts the last armor. Blood drips from his mouth. Gray realizes he took them all down at once. Same number as before. Last time he only hit half. Now, all down. He's still standing too, not passed out like before. But the professors see blood pouring from his chest. A huge cut. Ariel panics. She screams at him to drop the sword. Lee and Gray obey. Gray drops it. Falls to his knees. Professors rush over. They start healing him. Gray gets super weak. One professor tells him to stop pushing so hard. Ariel says losing that much blood drains stamina. He needs rest. Now, he pushed past a limit he never could before. Maybe a sign from above. Moving without knowing his own condition is dangerous. In a real fight without a healer, he needs to be careful. He looks at the blade. Not a single scratch. Gray uses his divine eye. The sword glows even brighter. It handled the whole fight. Ariel spots something in the sky. Pink magic explosion at Unified World Academy. Boom. Everyone freezes. The place is under attack. Crumbling. Students run as debris falls. Instructors throw up magical barriers to protect them. Heathkit explains that area has a vault. Dangerous stuff inside. Someone clearly wants to steal it. Right after the blast ... he saw someone teleport in a split second. Impossible. The vault has anti-teleportation magic. The walls withstand most explosions. Ariel sees Liquidator magic in the smoke. They probably use those underground lab crystals to destroy the outer wall. Gray gets it. Varian Bradley's allies did this. They actually attacked the Academy headquarters. Several items are gone. Details are scarce. No outsider could pull this off. They destroyed the inhibitor and fled. Inside job. Definitely. So the Academy is compromised. Ariel wonders if it ever was trustworthy. Gray says if the enemy controls the Academy, they can get whatever they want. They blew the vault because they could not get the item legally. Ariel does not know what the higher-ups think, that the culprits are blood drinkers. They infiltrated the Academy. Gray remembers they killed Bella's father. Ariel says killing Varian makes Gray a target too. She tells him to watch his back, especially outside. Gray heads downstairs. He gets to class. Everyone is freaking out. Trembling, he figures it is the explosion. Nope. Gray sees the outdoor exercise notification. That is why they are scared. Gray tells Lenhart he read it. He is not afraid. 16 hours of marching and camping in monster territory. Brutal. A whole week of this. Extra combat training will be brutal. Leon asks how Gray is so calm. 16 hours of marching a day. No guarantee of sleep either. Monsters might show up. Over half the students quit every year because of this. Gray explains real battle marches. You never know when the enemy hits. His Liquidator subjugation training had no time limit. They threw warriors into the mountains, made them march through infested forest for a week. Some died from monster attacks. Professors are here now. That won't happen. Leon realizes hellish exercises don't scare this guy. Everyone else is terrified. Gray feels something lurking outside. The professor announces the annual freshman outdoor exercise. Fail this, and most give up. No second year for them. The professor pushes them. Mission start. Our guy hits the edge of the Windley continent. Gray remembers this place is empty. Why? They march into the forest, following the professors. Someone says this is the wrong way. The professor says training means taking the hardest path. They follow him up a steep trail. Exhaustion hits. The professor reveals it's only been 8 hours. Halfway through the march, the students are wrecked. They realize they are only halfway, and it is just day one. The professor says their bodies will adjust. The start is always the worst. Lenhart and the others know the professor is lying. The exhaustion is brutal. They ignore the words. They see Lenhart is not even tired. Lenhart thinks this is the peak of the swordsman course. He must push himself. He also notices Gray. Gray has not broken a sweat since they started. Suddenly a spider attacks an exhausted student. It scares her senseless. It almost hits her face. Gray saves her with a perfect dagger throw. Insane. Our black swordsman kills the thing. He warns them about venomous spiders. Lenhart watches Gray. He is not just walking. He is constantly scanning for ambushes. Walking for 8 hours and staying that ready. Think he trained like a maniac. Gray has insane stamina. His training before regression really paid off for him. Getting a good night's sleep is a massive upgrade from his past hell. What actually worries him is Ariel's warning. Stay alert outside the academy. This training puts them in open areas. Zero security. Plus the academy knows exactly where they are. Our hero prays nothing goes wrong. Right then the professor calls a halt. They are dead tired. They ask what is up. The professor announces meal training starts now. Everyone's visibly happy, imagining a feast. They thank the professor for the break. So eager for food. Gray though, he has a bad feeling. Especially with that name. You already know. Cut to the professor clarifying. Not a break to eat, it is a lesson on the march. You eat, you cook. He splits them into squads. Balancing the strength of each group, the professor tells them each squad gets a spot. Basic utensils to prepare their meal. Squad C has Lenhart, Pluo, Hides, and Bias. Squad D Gray Lee is the leader. With Basque, Rumia, and Bonos, Gray wonders if he can lead. Think he can pull it off. Fears no one wants to listen to the Divine I special student. Squad D introduces themselves. They seem friendly, way calmer than he expected. Gray thought they would hate taking orders from him. Nice. Gray asks if they are cool with him leading. The students do not get his doubt. For them, after Gray's win, who else would lead? They trust him completely. Grab the gear fast, ask what is next. Gray notices the change. That last match really worked, he gets it, at the academy. Everything is merit. A student asks what to do. The professor did not give them enough food. The student explains. Just a pot and a fire starter, nothing else. Professor Hefkit explains, real field march. No food or cooking gear provided. Lenhard argues, modern field ops use logistics and magic storage. The professor says that is only for planned missions. Hefkit shuts him down. Emergencies happen, camping mid-battle. Supply officer dies, you march unprepared. Magical storage bags, too valuable. Unless you are in a huge unit, you carry your own gear. Just like now. Many will just give up. The students go quiet. Lenhard apologizes. Gray had no idea storage bags were so rare. He treated his like a simple sword bag. Now he gets it. High-value item. But hey, the professor has good news. Forest is crawling with monsters, but they spread magical repellent on the path. Do not worry about finding food. Without repellent, monsters emerge. Students get it. Release the repellent, monsters lurk everywhere. Squad D asks their leader Gray, what now? Gray says hunt them. Eat them, only option. He spots footprints and droppings, small and medium monsters nearby. Gray thinks swords are enough. The squad, terrified of real combat. Searching this huge forest seems impossible. Gray explains, if they are carnivores, easy. They come to you. Stay still, you compete with other squads. Gotta move. Do not want to fight. Eat insects and snakes. One girl wants to hunt monsters. We are in a forest full of them. Another student shuts that down. Gray is the leader. They follow his orders. Squad D heads into the woods. They look for tracks. Gray catches a scent. Monsters are close. Damn. A fierce bear bursts from the bushes. It charges one of the guys. He freezes. He barely dodges. Fast. His body moves on instinct. Brutal academy training paying off. He draws his sword. He gets behind the beast. Do not underestimate me. He lands a deep cut. Blood everywhere. Brutal. The bear snaps back. Claws swipe at the student. Think Gray lets his teammate die. He jumps in. Saves his life. One precise strike. Gray severs the bear's hand. The creature attacks Gray with its other arm. Gray strikes again. Left hand gone. Gray finishes it. Sheathes his sword. Tough bones. His teammate thanks him. Gray explains wild monsters keep moving. Even after fatal hits. Priority 1. Do not get hit. The student gets it. Real combat is not training. They roast the bear meat over the fire. The students dig the bear meat. Gray explains monster meat flavor varies by species. Pro tip. Always research local monsters before an expedition. Gray recommends hunting wild boars if they need food somewhere unknown. Wild boars generally avoid poisonous plants, plus, their meat tastes decent. A colleague mentions Gray studied survival techniques besides swordsmanship. Gray tries to be modest. He claims he doesn't know that much about survival. Suddenly, another squad bursts from the woods. They beg for food. Their own food hunt failed miserably. They even tried eating frogs. Gray says they have enough food to feed an entire class. He shares. The other squad goes wild. But wait. The professor steps in. Food exchanges between teams or band. Everyone hunts their own. He kicks the other squad out. They trudge back into the woods, hungry. Fast forward through another march. The professor calls a halt. They are setting up camp right here. Field camping exercise starts now. The students are just happy they ate. Some collapse, totally exhausted. One student asks if they need to find more food. Professor Ren shuts that down. They get canned food and individual tents for the camp. They must gather materials and set up tents and campfires in designated spots. Night attacks are coming. They need watches. Use any method to stop surprises. The professor hears some students whispering about bending the rules. Professor Ren says they spread everyone out on purpose. No relaxing allowed. Training starts right now. Slower you move, less sleep you get. Gray talks night watch numbers. His team suggests 2 people per shift. That gives everyone half the night to sleep. Gray actually agrees to just 1 person per watch. Someone says the first and last shifts are calmest. Middle shifts get their sleep wrecked. Gray volunteers for the second shift, asks who wants the third. That purple-haired kid Gray save jumps on the third shift. Rumia, Bask, and Benes take the first watch. End of each shift. You wake the next person up before you crash. Gray is sleeping. Rumia is awake watching the campfire. Suddenly, watch what happens next. A figure with a dagger creeps toward Gray's tent. Rumia starts feeling super sleepy. The guy gets close. Gray wakes up. Close call. He heard something weird. Immediately up. Sword ready. Gray knew a monster would be louder, more chaotic. This was definitely a human. Someone trying to be quiet. Gray peeks out. Just Rumia. Practically asleep. She did not hear a thing. Was he imagining it? Gray trusts his gut. Someone is close. He stands out. Maybe it is just the professor checking their vigilance. Gray did not drop his guard. Time to investigate. He remembered Ariel's warning. Defeating Varian Bradley made him a target. Bloodsuckers would come for him. She said be careful leaving the academy. Assassin. Better act like it. Gotta take precautions. Long-range attacks were possible. Sitting still was stupid. He slipped out of the tent. Rumia did not notice a thing. He started sneaking through the forest. Full moon lit up the sky, almost like daytime. Easier to spot the enemy, but harder to hide. Gray moved carefully. Divine Bow training kicked in. In his past life, Ariel taught him how to walk. Stay on your toes for silence. Heel hits last. Minimal moves. Even stepping on branches or leaves. It does not sound like human footsteps. More like animals or the wind. No unwanted attention. During that Divine Bow training, they walked barefoot through mountains. One with nature. Gray followed every word. Then he saw him. Man with a dagger. Got him. Watch what happens next. Gray threw stones. Intruder fell for it. Sword at the guy's neck. Stay still. Answer or die. Name and affiliation. Now. Wait, it was the old mustachioed professor. Another surprise school attack. The professor claimed he was just checking Gray's guard. Yeah, right. He definitely didn't expect Gray to ghost behind him and put a sword to his throat. He couldn't tell who was teaching who anymore. Gray figured the old guy was faking. He kept his guard up. If the professor really wanted to attack, he'd have a deadlier weapon. Gray finally lowered his blade. He figured it was safe. Right then, Rumia showed up, sword ready, checking the nose. She saw them and asked what was up. The professor explained he was testing their vigilance. He said Gray caught him before he even got close. Their vigilance was flawless. He'd never seen freshmen set up such a perfect camp. Rumia argued Gray should be sleeping. She was on watch. The professor thought that was weird. Gray asked if he stepped on a branch. The professor confirmed it. Gray explained he knew that sound was human. The professor couldn't believe Gray heard that while sleeping. Gray just shrugged, not deeply asleep. Total coincidence. The professor started laughing. First the simulated battle. Now this. Gray kept shocking everyone. Did they even need to teach Grayly anything? Then he banned Gray from night watch training. Seriously, if Gray handled everything, the other students wouldn't learn a thing. Gray asked if missing one guy would screw things up. Professor said no surprise attacks for Gray's group between 1 and 3 in the morning. Even without him, they get a perfect score on vigilance training. No conditions. Professor noted it down and told the group to move on without Gray. The professor realized Gray snuck up behind him. He didn't even notice. Was this kid from some elite stealth unit? No way. Too young, but his skill was insanely high. The professor started wondering who Gray really was. Dawn hit. Time to march again. Everyone was dead tired. Constant alerts meant zero sleep. Gray, the black swordsman, kept leading Squad D, not even tired. Another long march. Night fell. Time to camp again. Maybe they could finally rest. Training's over for the day. No more hard stuff. Tents were up. Time to relax while food cooked. Everyone ate and crashed hard. But Gray thought this much rest was weird. You already know, he knew tomorrow would be hell. Worse than before. Lenhart told Gray he'd crush any training. Professor Heathcote made a massive feast. Professors brought huge buckets, tons of food, seconds for everyone. After 2 brutal days, this felt too good. They deserved that rest, a night to recharge. To watch what happens next, the professor flashes this evil smile. He knows tomorrow is going to be brutal. Fast forward to morning. The march starts again. Soon they hit this massive mountain. Training in the dangerous Mount Gastio zone is about to begin. Groups follow the professor up the path. Seeing the mountain freaked them out at first. Now their pace gives them confidence. So far, nobody has dropped. Expected, these guys passed the academy's brutal entrance exam. But the professor warns them, real training starts now. Because in about 2 kilometers, they enter water lizard territory. These beasts are way stronger than anything they hunted for food. Most students will get eliminated, or just die in this fight. Fear spreads fast. Facing lethal monsters, the professor tells them to move undetected. It is a 2-week training in a dangerous area. Water lizards do not move in dry seasons. Conserving energy, if the students stay quiet. Maybe the lizards will not even notice them, but it is the dry season. They are thirsty for any liquid, like human vital fluid. If the water lizards detect them, death is almost instant. This reminds Gray of his old training. Hunting monsters with the divine bow. The professor says this should be easy for Gray. He already has monster hunting experience. He questions if the other students can handle it. Looking back, Professor watches them struggle. They are making too much noise. Heathkit gets annoyed. Tells them to walk way slower. Quiet means safe. Heathkit says no camping here. This is lizard territory. The students are exhausted. Gray notices no one is saying where to go. He figures they were taught safe spots already. Still too loud. Professor snaps at them again. Keep it down. They keep marching. Professor warns them. Past this point, silence. Any noise, any talking, you lose points. Hand signals only now. Students think it is just a normal hike. Slower pace than yesterday. Easy. They start thinking there are no monsters. They doubt the academy would actually put them near deadly monsters. The monsters are fake. Just an excuse for the slow march. Watch what happens next. One student slips on a rock. Bam. Loud noise. He is just worried about losing points. Wrong. Instantly, water lizards swarm them. Professors, students, everyone draws their swords. The kid on the ground is frozen. Lizards leap. Professor Heathkit jumps in. He slams his sword into a water lizard's head, killing it instantly. Brutal. But another one is still moving, charging the students. Lenhart attacks, slashing the lizard. His sword doesn't even leave a scratch. Think he backs down. The beast immediately turns, charging Lenhart. Professor Heathkit steps in to protect him, punching the beast. He yells that the students can't handle these things. Everyone retreat. The professors start surrounding the water lizards, telling the students to back off. The students see even the professors are only landing shallow hits. They realize they just aren't strong enough. The professor explains if they can just make them lose some body fluid, they'll drop because it's the dry season. Lenhart asks what happens in the rainy season. The professor says they'd be easy prey then. That's why the training march only happens when they're sure there's no rain. He adds they can talk now. All the nearby water lizards are dead. Before, just talking would have gotten them killed. They keep marching, climbing the mountain. And here is the thing. They finally hit the top, killing a few more things on the way. Professor Heathkit calls the end of the mountain march. Students collapse, exhausted. Lenhart feels physically fine, but mentally drained. Not being able to make noise made it way harder. Everyone thought the training was brutal, but Lenhart shows nothing. Professor Heathkit mentions that lately. Heathkit says the water lizard ambushes used to be way worse. He tells them once they pass this territory, silence is mandatory again. Any questions? Gray speaks up. Something is bothering him. He points out a cloud getting bigger, coming right at them. Heathkit notices and talks to Professor Wormel about it. Wormel says clouds like that are impossible this season. Then they see it growing even bigger. Time to turn back. Training cancelled, but Wormel argues they should push through the rain. Heathkit snaps back. A cloud this time of year is not normal. Student safety matters more than training. Wormel has run this training for years. He insists they trust his call. Wormel, the guy with the mustache, says they are speeding up because of the rain. He sees it as a training opportunity, tells the students to follow him like their lives depend on it. He claims their results show they can handle the rain. Do not fall behind. Do not waste time fighting lizards. And absolutely no noise. Just as Gray watches, torrential rain starts pouring down. Heathkit thinks this rain is weird. Air is too humid. He suspects it is artificial, maybe magic, Even Professor Wormel finds it odd raining this season. It should not be happening. Leon asks Professor Wormel if it is safe to speak loudly here. Right then, a fierce water lizard appears behind Wormel. The water lizard slams the professor hard. Professor Wormel dodges and immediately counterattacks. He sinks his sword into the beast's arm. It shrieks, whips its tail. Professor Wormel blocks with his sword. He hurts the lizard, then gets thrown. Everyone worries. But Professor Wormel gets back up. Leon thinks a professor should be faster. Yet Wormel got hurt, even while counterattacking. The students are shocked by the water lizard's speed. It is faster in the rain. Heathkit tells students to focus. They advance. He charges with the other professors, hits the monster's back. But a tail whip catches Professor Heathkit off guard. He gets thrown too. The lizard charges. Professor Heathkit gets up fast, kills it. The 4 professors finally defeat the monsters, but all the professors are hurt. Cannot continue training. Wormel cancels it. Tells everyone to use emergency teleportation. The female professor says she has been trying. It is not working. One professor asks if anyone else can cast it. Another explains the teleport is blocked. Decides the rain and the block teleport. Someone is blocking the exit. Wormel freaks out. How do they get out? One professor says wait for the rain to stop. Heathkit thinks the rain is fake. It has to end eventually. They decide staying put is safer. Fighting now is suicide. At least nobody died in the last fight. They heal Wormel fast. They know Heathkit gets it. But those water lizards are everywhere in the rain. Heathkit knows staying is death. He needs a plan. Right then Gray yells to him. He says with recovery magic he can fight. Heathkit agrees. Gray's power might get them through the territory. Gray's body might hold up. He knows the professor understands. Stay here and no help is coming. Heathkit warns him. Gray would have to use that mode again. Ariel strictly forbade that. Gray sees perfect training. The academy has great healers. He is risking it all. Heathkit argues Ariel would stop him if it were easy. Gray snaps back. There is no other way to save the students. Is the professor going to let everyone die just to protect him? Ariel warned Heathkit. Gray's going to try the hero play. Don't let him do anything permanent. Heathkit weighs the options. Heathkit ignores Ariel, asks Gray to fight. Gray's down, but Wormel jumps in. Hold up. You can't decide this alone. She admits Gray did good in the competition. But trust a student with everyone's life? No way. Heathkit says Gray's power changes things. He can take a water lizard solo. Heathkit wants to bet everything on this kid's weird power. Professor Morgan though, hell no, he wants to call headquarters. Safest bet, guess what? Gallic already sent the request. The comms are blocked. Gallic was fast. Still have to wait for a reply. The mustache professor argues moving is too risky. Does Heathkit want to endanger the students? They can't handle more attacks. So they wait for backup. Safer than wandering outside the safe zone. He tells the students to shut up. Monsters might smell them. They hide under trees, waiting out the rain. Then more water lizards show up. Everyone's freaking out. Heathkit grabs his sword. Ready to fight. Gray draws his too. Ready to stand with the professors. The beasts arrive. They just leap into action. Everyone attacks. The professors are super fast. They hit the creatures from the front and back with their swords. Then bam, a lizard's tail whips one professor. Heathkit loses it. He charges the lizard. Attacks flying everywhere. They actually take down one water lizard. Right away another professor heals the guy who got hit. But guess what? 2 more lizards show up. The nose drew them in. They are coming. Our guy Gray gets ready to draw his sword. Heathkit yells that their job is protecting students. That is how World Union professors fight. So they charge the beasts, crazy fast, total heroes. The students are watching. They cannot believe how strong these professors are. Even against they are handling it, showing real power. Heathkit shouts to focus on just one lizard. Cut down the numbers. Right away they are dodging. I'll focus on that one lizard. Yes. One professor plunges his sword right into its chest. The students go wild. Another monster down. Only one left now. The professors are barely hurt. The healer is on it. Everyone thinks the World Union professors have this one. Then they go after the last lizard. But wait, 2 guys with swords appear behind the professors. Brace yourself. Two professors just lost their arms. Gray did that. One strike, both professors lose their arms. Brutal. The students are completely shocked. Gray keeps attacking. Heathkit thanks him. He and the last loyal professor keep the lizards dizzy. They finish off the final monster. Now interrogation time. The professor demands to know why they attacked Heathkit from behind. Explain yourselves. Wormel lies instantly. Claims he was fighting the lizard when his arm got ripped off. The other big professor tells the same lie. Demands they arrest Gray. The loyal professor shuts that down. Everyone saw the betrayal. The fencing students are not blind. They saw it. Heathkit drops some truth. Assassinations and kidnappings. Comment. The academy has tons of enemies. Valuable people too. So yeah, it happens a lot. He gets it. The traitors use the fight as cover to kill a professor. No guards around. They plan to kill or kidnap students. Force them into shady work. Hearing this, the fencing students are horrified. Heathkit says Gray saved them. Gray realizes the professor knew all along. Heathkit saw the betrayal coming. Ormo asks how the plan leaked. Gray reads intentions easily. Just watches movements and eyes. The mustache guy's movements screamed attack, not protect. Gray thought the guy was just incompetent at first. But when the rain started, his weird behavior clicked. He was taking hits he could have easily dodged. That made Gray suspicious. He used his power for a second. The injury was not even that bad. Just a nasty bruise. His body was not even sore. Right then, the professor completely loses it. He starts cackling like a supervillain. He tells Gray and Rent it is too late. They miss the real plan. They are trapped in the rain. The place is crawling with aquatic lizards. Plus, a powerful teleportation seal is active. No escape. Reinforcements will not make it, even if they figured out the betrayal. He says it is too late. They are all dead. Every student dies. But wait, the goal was never to kill them. They wanted to drag them along so they would understand the plan. The mustache guy says Heathkit wants to know how they escape. Wormel's condition. Rent, Heathkit, and Gray have to stab themselves in the heart. They cannot have anyone interfering with the plan. Do that, and the others live. Wormel tries to play them, asking if they will hesitate with so many lives on the line. Then, someone else steps out of the shadows. Gray is already behind him. Instant sword to the throat. Wormel says having a hostage changes nothing. Gray pushes the guy. He knows this dude can use teleportation magic. He says pulling off secret messages and blocking teleportation in the academy is hard. But with the magic professor helping him, setting up that system is way easier. Heathkit says Gray is pretty sharp for a student. Gray immediately points his sword at the professor with the teleportation and communication skills. Orders him to activate the teleportation magic right now. Send everyone to the base of the mountain. Refuse, and he loses an eye. Keep refusing. The other one gets gouged out too. Brutal. Next, Gray threatens to cut off all his fingers. He warns him. Send one student somewhere else or leave anyone behind, and he will regret it. Wormel orders Professor Gallic not to dare use the teleportation magic. But the professor is facing two swords. He hesitates. Heathkit says he is out of options and attacks with everything. The professor Rant drops to his knees, dodges the attack, and starts crying. He puts both hands on the ground. Activates the teleportation magic. It covers all the students. Teleportation starts. And all the students are back at the base of the mountain. The first-year fencing squad appears at the academy door. Rich explains things got dangerously weird in the lizard habitat. They had to evacuate. The emergency, an assassination attempt planned by faculty members. He adds that two magic professors were in on it. Working with Wormel, all the students confirm Rich's story about the assassination attempt. They say their lives were on the line. Leon tells everyone Gray and Professor Heathkit figured it out and saved them all. An older professor asks about injuries. Anyone need immediate treatment? The healer shows up. She sees the two professors are missing their right hands. Brutal. She handcuffs everyone there so nobody escapes. Then she says all students are getting interrogated. Prepare yourselves. The professors get questioned one by one. Academy professors and directors run the show. Stories confirmed. Everyone waits in the courtroom. Director Alexandro bangs the gavel. Silence. He announces the verdict for the attempted assassination and kidnapping. Wormel, the supervisor, and Varian Bradley, his accomplice, plan the whole thing. Two magic professors, Gallic and Rant, help them. They tried to kidnap the students in that enclosed space they made. These three professors executed their criminal plan. Nothing else to analyze. Academy law sentences them. The traitors get the death penalty. Think they talk. They will be interrogated, tortured even, to find any accomplices. After that, they die. The director adds it will not be quick. They have a long process ahead. Armin says he told everything and does not need interrogation. The director glares at him. Dark energy pours off the director. Armin tries to bolt. A professor snags him, slams him hard. Heathkit gets hurt in the scuffle. The director is pissed. He orders the three ringleaders dragged off for interrogation. Gaelic is guilty too, but he bailed on the plan and helped the students. That earns him a break. He gets to live, helps students escape, minimize the damage, so no execution. Living isn't always great though. Grey faces serious blowback. Heathkit gets it. Grey went through hell right after joining, but he sees Grey getting used to this chaos. It keeps happening. Heathkit never thought so many criminals or hiding as professors. Best school in the world. Hard to believe, not even close to what he expected. Heathkit says some call it a school. Others see it as a filter. Strong kids enter. Excellent kids graduate, because they were already good. The professors do not actually have much power. Heathkit asks Grey what he thinks. Grey says he thinks about that sometimes. One thing is certain, he got stronger here. Way stronger than back in his village. Not even close, he agrees with the professor. Do not trust the academy. But some professors are solid, like Heathkit and Ariel. For Grey, that is plenty. Heathkit thinks Grey sounds like a friend, not a student. He tells the kid training is about to get brutal. Everything before, just a warm-up, conditioning. Heathkit promises Grey will get much stronger from here on out. Grey hopes so. It is his life's biggest goal. They get congratulated for the field march. Even with all the crazy stuff that happened, everyone gets praised. Basic physical training is officially done. Before explaining what is next, Heathkit shows them what to aim for. He demonstrates professor-level power. One professor shatters a 145mm metal chunk. Do that in one cut. Instant promotion to second year. Fail by the end of the semester, you are expelled. Every year, half the class fails, gone. The professor emphasizes few graduate to Unified World Academy. Quitting or getting kicked out is normal. Guess what happens after expulsion? Get expelled first year. You transfer to a regular academy back home. Thanks to this training, you skip a year easily. You become the top student. Or you can join the Royal Guard as an elite swordsman. To everyone else, Unified World Academy students are not normal people. Even the ones kicked out have talent. They just are not as good as the ones who stay. Grey remembers Saria talking about the huge gap between this place and everywhere else. The professor tells them not to worry about getting expelled. Just focus on cutting the pillar. The students ask if that is even possible. The professor hands a sword to one student, tells him to try it. The guy hits the pillar. The sword flies right out of his hand. Intense pain shoots through his wrist from the rebound. The professor scolds him. Dropping your sword is unacceptable. A swordsman never drops their blade. Grey asks if they can use a specific sword. He says if he uses the one Saria gave him, he could do it easily. But the professor says only Academy standard swords are allowed. Grey thinks about his current sword. He could probably make the cut right now with his mysterious power. But if this is for promotion, he should do it without his special ability. He thinks about combining technique and strength. Grey knows with his power, he can become a liquidator in the future. Remembering his past life, he knows he must get stronger. The professor sees the students are worried. He knows they are wondering if cutting this is possible. Do they need inhuman strength like Grey's to pass? He clarifies that is not true. The veteran teachers are much stronger than Grey. Even without huge muscles, the power gap between students and teachers was insane. The secret, infusing life force into the sword. Grey heard about this in his past life. Life force refined super compressed ether. The Unified World Academy developed a technique for swordsmanship. Now they are teaching it. The professor explained you do not need complicated theories anymore. He showed them a draining demonic sword. It forces life energy into the blade. Get used to that feeling. Then you can do it with normal swords. Who wants to try? The other students hesitated. They wanted someone else to go first. Gray thought the name was weird, but he wanted to get stronger. He raised his hand. Leon raised his too. Leon was still pissed about failing against the water lizards. The professor knew Gray could handle it, but he is not a good reference for the others. So he called Lenhart up to try the draining demonic sword. The prodigy held the sword. He felt it draining him. The professor said attack immediately. Then sheath it. Lenhart attacked the pillar. He cut halfway through. Insane power. The cut almost destroyed the pillar. Brutal. The rebound effect was absurd. He fell unconscious. Leon managed to sheath the sword. Then he crawled on the ground, powerless. Teachers rushed over. Professor Ren says it is always like this at first. Do not push too hard. That life force drain, totally temporary. Leon will recover with rest, better than expected, honestly. He did not even drop the sword. Next up, Gray. The class cannot believe it. Gray does not even hesitate after seeing Leon fall. Pure determination. He grabs the sword and draws it. Yep, something is definitely draining his life force. He cannot hold on long. He charges the pillar. A fast, brutal cut. Still not enough to destroy the pillar. Gray knows this is not normal. Feels like his blood is frozen solid. He sheathes the sword and sighs. Like it was nothing. Rent has never seen a freshman stay standing after using the draining demonic sword. Gray has way more energy than he thought. Thank Hefkit's training for that. Or maybe his body is just used to being constantly wrecked. Rent asks him to do it again. Gray tries again, draws the sword, attacks the pillar, then his eyes close, lights out. At least he sheathes it before hitting the deck. Rent was just joking. He did not think Gray would actually swing that draining demonic sword again. Now he gets how Gray got this strong. While those to recover, Rent talks to the class. Life force swordsmanship is insanely powerful. Watch this. Even a total beginner, a total newbie, first time holding it, can almost wreck a steel stake. Only the Unified World Academy teaches this. No other national academy does. He asks why. A student says it's the death risk. Professor Rand says no student has ever died using it. He explains the sword stops draining life force when you pass out. Lenhart thinks it's because they're rare. Rand says that's not it. The academy has 30. In the past, combat use caused countless deaths. That's why it's restricted to the academy. Brutal, can move on the battlefield. Even if the sword stops draining, the enemy kills you. To use it in real combat, you must be able to move after. Gray says no one outside the academy can do that. Professor Rant agrees, activating it once is useless. Mastery means using it naturally, otherwise, the sword's power uses you. Countless swordsmen died this way. Students ask if they should use it. Rant explains everyone must learn to use it naturally to advance to the second year. Rant will use these swords in the next training session. He dismisses them to practice outside class. He tells them not to faint and delay other classes. Gray needs to figure out how to use it normally. Passing out after one use is useless. Same goes for his chain doors ability. Every time he uses that secret power, he blacks out. At this rate, he needs a healer. He must master one of these powers to beat the Liquidator. Coming to the academy, best choice ever, no better place to get strong. Combine this with his secret technique. He will become a monster. Cut to the second training ground. Someone watches Gray practically destroy a pillar. He rests 3 minutes after every swing. Mana consumption recovers life force. Gray gets the hang of it. Inefficient training. Still, he tests a normal sword. He knows he will collapse without breaks. Gray does not want to forget that feeling. He draws his sword again. Someone interrupts. A student says Professor Ariel wants him to try the life force sword alone, but she wants to watch. The student goes to get her, tells Gray to wait. Gray waits for Ariel, thought she was busy. The student figures she predicted he would master it and cleared her schedule. Gray is shocked. She knew he would master it in one day. Expected from the Divine Eye. Still surprising, Ariel apologizes for the wait. Tells him to resume training. Who is the hooded woman next to her? Gray is annoyed. Ariel thinks he is tired, says the team is there to heal him. Gray relies on them to get his vitality back. He decides to train with the draining demonic sword first. Just to recall the feeling, Ariel watches closely. letting him trust his gut. Gray pulls off another spinning move with that draining demonic sword. Then he charges the pillar, delivers a cut that almost obliterates it. He is trying to grasp that feeling again, recover it. Gray grabs a normal sword, tries to recreate drawing life force from his own body. Focused, he tries to remember, feels the vital fluid from his heart start flowing through his body. As that vital energy flows through the sword, imbuing it, something unexpected happens. Whoa! Gray's arm turns completely red, imbued with the black swordsman's energy. This energy, totally different from life force, had mixed right in. Gray's life force merges with the power from that door, and that power seems thirsty for more. So his life force is getting drained, against his will. Brutal, he cannot control anything, suffering from this wild power. Suddenly, an academy swordsman tears Gray's arm off. You can see it, the arm is completely imbued with monstrous energy. Tearing it off contained the danger. Ariel knew special powers had issues mixing with life force. They said the previous divine eye wielder also struggled to harmonize his power. The woman who tore off Gray's arm? That is the healing magic teacher, Rufa Elixir. Rufa finds Gray's power incredibly strange while she heals him. First she stops the bleeding, then activates forced regeneration healing magic. Gray's right arm, the one ripped off, starts growing back. Bones, fibers, muscles, all reconnecting. Wild, Ariel thought forced regeneration was incredible. Rufa was just happy she stuck with healing. She thanked Ariel for finding her talent. Rufa figured Gray would wake up soon, told them to call if anything weird happened. Gray wakes up somewhere totally random. Ariel's right there, asks if he remembers. He remembers trying to activate the life force sword. Then his arm went nuts, life force drained. Destiny assistant ripped it off, you already know. Gray shocked his arm grew back, doesn't remember anything after that. Ariel sees his memories fine, hands him food. Gray eats. Asks if she knew this would happen. Ariel wasn't sure, but something similar happened before. Amy White trying to use life force, that's why Ariel wanted to be there. Gray's floor, the sword saint, brutal. Ariel explains Amy couldn't handle the mixed power. Her arm exploded. Gray's stunned, good thing his didn't. They didn't need to amputate, but the shock was huge. Seems she still hates using life force. Gray gets it, but she learned somehow. Ariel confirms that mastering it was brutal. Gray asks what method she used. Ariel explains she used a magic contract to suppress the sword saint's power. They slowly loose and the magic contract during Amy's training. Just enough to let her manifest only her life force. Gray is shocked, a magic contract could do that. He had no idea, but Ariel shuts it down. This magic sucks for suppressing alien power. It will not work on Gray. Amy's power broke the contract in under 3 minutes. Gray's power, lucky if it lasts half a second. So yeah, same method is out. Ariel feels bad, she cannot find a way for Gray to use his life force. His alien power is just too unique. No precedents, no formulas, nothing to reference. She adds it is not impossible, he just needs insane training. Enough to control and extract only the life force. But she cannot imagine a method that supports that much training. The life force would just spiral out of control. Gray thinks if it goes wild every time, practice is impossible. Then he gets an idea. What if someone cuts off his arm every time it goes wild? Then use recovery magic. He thinks he can train if she provides that magic every time. Insane. Ariel is speechless. What a bizarre idea. She says she can get someone for the recovery magic. But does he really want to do this? He could just not use the life force. And here is the thing. Gray's power already beats the draining demonic sword itself. His skills alone get him through the Ascension exam, even without using life force. But Gray wants way more than just becoming a second-year student. He wants to get stronger, even just a little bit each year. Ariel knew he'd say that. She'd get the recovery magic ready. Someone to cut his arm if he lost control. First step. Gray wants to use that draining demonic sword, sharpen his senses. Next up, he needs that arm cutter. Ariel told the observers, act fast if Gray loses it. Arm regeneration might take a day, he won't die though. Agonizing training. Brutal. Ariel was pulling for him. Gray thanked her for backing his crazy plan. Get stronger. Cut to the other students. They're struggling. trying to move life force. Knock down pillars. They thought they were getting it. No. Sword made them faint every time. 30 minutes in. Done. Completely drained. Push to heart. Ruin your body. They're leaving. Then they see Gray. 2 swords. He hadn't fainted once. His stamina. Different level. Next morning, they come back. Gray's already there. Sword swinging. Shocked. He's been using the draining demonic sword since dawn. Death student or not, are they seeing things? One student figured he's taking breaks. Practicing a little. 30 minutes drains you completely. Non-stop morning till night. He'd die, right then. Gray switched swords, fainted, hit the ground hard. He thought he'd get the hang of it. Just keep going. Gray felt completely lost training with that draining demonic sword. His teacher never showed him this. This was all his own basic, self-taught method. Could he pull his life force without the sword? Gray remembered the Liquidator. He shoved those negative thoughts away. He had to finish this. Gray shut his eyes, focusing completely on absorbing life force. He drew the sword. One perfect cut absolutely destroyed the pillar. Insane. Was that the first time he sliced through a huge new pillar like that? Then it hit him. He used